Close your eyes for a moment and separate yourself from the noise of the world that surrounds you. I want you to suspend your judgment of the visible reality and enter into the silence of your own being where the truth of existence resides. We begin this journey with a statement that may shock your logical mind, but will resonate deeply with your spirit. The millions you have longed for, and the wealth you have dreamed of, and the abundance you have imagined are not coming. They are already here right now, right where you are, closer than your own breath already done. This is the great paradox of the spiritual life. As long as you believe your good is coming, you are pushing it away into a future that never arrives. The future is a concept, but the present is the only reality. We are here to dismantle the illusion of time and distance. This is not a matter of time. It is a matter of recognition. There is nothing to strive for when you understand this truth, because creation is finished. When we say creation is finished, we mean that the universe is not a construction site where God is frantically trying to build your desire from scratch. It is a finished library where every possible version of your life already exists as a completed volume. The version of you who is struggling exists, and the version of you who is a multimillionaire exists. They are both real. They are both valid. The only difference is which volume you have chosen to pull off the shelf and read. All states already exist in the vast repository of God's mind, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Wealth is not a collection of paper bills or digits on a computer screen. Wealth is a state of consciousness. It is a specific frequency of being. The moment you occupy it internally, it becomes yours. The millions are not attracted to what you do, but to what you are. Most people are exhausted because they are trying to do their way to wealth while being in a state of poverty. This is impossible. It is like trying to tune into a radio station by shouting at the radio instead of turning the dial. You are abundance itself disguised in form. You are not the beggar knocking at the door of life asking for a crumb of bread. You are the door. You are the house. You are the vault in which infinite treasure has been stored since before the foundation of the world. You have looked for it in the marketplace. You have looked for it in the lottery. You have looked for it in the favor of others. But all along the treasure was buried in the field of your own interior life. You have only to walk in and claim it. The world will show you what you are being, not what you want. This is the brutal and beautiful mirror of reality. If you want millions but you are being anxious, you will receive more things to be anxious about. If you want freedom but you are being a victim, you will receive more oppression. What you are being is what you accept as true. Your current reality, the room you are sitting in, the car you drive, the balance in your bank is just a perfect mirror of your most dominant assumptions. It is not a judgment, it is a reflection. The mirror has no opinion of you. It simply shows you the face you are presenting. If you present the face of lack, the mirror shows lack. If you present the face of overflow, the mirror shows overflow. The moment you drop the idea that money is far or hard or scarce, it stops being any of those things. Money is neutral. It takes on the character you assign to it. If you assume money is hard to get, it will wrap itself in difficulty before it reaches you. If you assume money flows like water, it will dissolve its barriers and flood your life. You are the one defining the nature of the substance. You do not need to work harder. You need to assume better. The world is full of people working themselves into an early grave and having nothing to show for it. And the world is also full of people who seem to move with effortless grace, and everything they touch turns to gold. The difference is not in the sweat. The difference is in the assumption. There is no delay in spiritual law. The delay is only in your recognition. You keep checking the mailbox for something you have already received. Imagine ordering a package and holding it in your hands, but closing your eyes and screaming, "Where is it?" That is what you are doing. The millions are in your spiritual hands. They are in your imagination. But because you cannot see them with your physical eyes, you deny their presence. You keep asking where the millions are when the real question is, have you received them in your mind? Have you touched them in the silence? Because in silence the receiving happens. The physical world is only a delayed reflection of the inner activity of your soul. If you can appropriate the state of wealth now, the world has no choice but to reshape itself around you. We must go deeper into this concept of recognition. To recognize means to know again. It implies that you have known this wealth before, and you have. In the deep recesses of your soul, you remember your true nature, which is limitless abundance. You are a child of the Most High. Do you think God worries about rent? Do you think the Spirit is anxious about the economy? No. And since that Spirit is your true identity, you should not be anxious either. The amnesia of the human condition has made you forget who you are. The great recognition is the moment you wake up and remember, I own it all. When you walk down the street, do not walk as a person hoping to get lucky. Walk as a person who owns the street. Walk as a person who owns the buildings. Not in the delusional sense of physical title deeds, but in the spiritual sense that everything is part of your consciousness, and therefore everything is yours to enjoy. When you carry this vibration of ownership, you stop chasing. You stop begging. You start attracting. Consider the tragedy of the person who dies of thirst while floating on a freshwater lake because they thought the water was salt. That is the state of humanity. You are floating on an ocean of liquid wealth, but your belief that it is scarce or hard to get keeps you from drinking. The great recognition is the act of dipping your cup into the water and drinking. The cup is your mind. The water is your imagination. Drink deeply. There is no shortage. There is no competition. There is only you and your capacity to receive. If you have a small cup, you get a little. If you have a bucket, you get more. If you open the floodgates, you get the tsunami. The ocean does not care. The ocean just gives. Why are you standing on the shore of your own life waiting for a ship to come in when you are the captain, the ship, and the ocean? The idea that creation is finished is the most comforting thought you can ever hold. It means you cannot mess it up. You cannot miss your destiny. You can only delay it by your refusal to accept it. The script of your wealthy life is already written. The dialogue is written. The scenes are set. The actors are hired. It is sitting on the shelf in the archives of eternity marked your wealthy life. All you have to do is take your attention away from the script marked my struggling life and place it on the new script. You do not have to write the new script. You just have to read it. You read it by acting it out in your imagination. You read it by feeling the emotions of that character. As you read it with feeling, the invisible stage hands of the universe begin to build the set around you. They dismantle the old set of poverty and erect the new set of opulence. This happens automatically. You do not have to direct the stage hands. You just have to stay in character. We must address the beggar mentality. You are not the beggar knocking at the door of life. You are the door. This is a profound mystical truth. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved. Your I am, your awareness of being is the door through which all manifestations enter the world. If you say I am poor, you have opened the door to poverty, and it marches into your living room. If you say I am wealthy, you have opened the door to wealth, and it takes a seat at your table. You are the gatekeeper. Why are you begging the world for money when the world is waiting for you to open the door and let the money out? The money is inside you. It is trapped behind the door of your disbelief. Unlock the door. Fling it wide open. Let the treasure that has been gathering dust in the vault of your soul pour out into the streets of your life. The vault in which infinite treasure has been stored is your own consciousness. You have been taught to value the external. You value gold, silver, real estate, and stocks. These are just symbols. They are the shadows cast by the treasure, not the treasure itself. The real treasure is your ability to imagine. If you stripped a wealthy man of all his physical possessions but left him his consciousness of wealth, he would rebuild his fortune in a few years. If you gave a poor man $1 million but left him his consciousness of poverty, he would lose it all in a few years. This proves that the vault is internal. The great recognition is about valuing the internal generator of wealth more than the external artifacts of wealth. When you value the generator, you are secure. You know that even if the market crashes, you can generate more. You are the source. The world will show you what you are being. This is the law of reflection. A mirror cannot smile at you until you smile at it. You are standing before the mirror of life waiting for it to show you money so you can feel secure. You are saying to the mirror, smile at me, and then I will smile. And the mirror says, no, you smile first. You must generate the feeling of security, the feeling of abundance, the feeling of gratitude before the mirror can reflect it. This requires discipline. It requires you to ignore the current reflection, which may be a frown of lack, and hold the inner smile of plenty until the mirror changes. And it will change. It has to change. It is a law as hard as gravity. The mirror has no choice. You do not need to work harder. This goes against everything you have been taught. You have been taught the Protestant work ethic, the hustle culture, the no pain, no gain philosophy. These are rules for the physical man, not the spiritual man. The spiritual man knows that effort without alignment is futile. You can dig a ditch with a spoon and work very hard, or you can use an excavator and work very little. Imagination is the excavator. When you align your imagination with your desire, the physical work becomes inspired action rather than forced labor. Inspired action feels like play. It feels like flow. You find yourself doing things, making calls, creating products, but it doesn't drain you. It energizes you. The great recognition is realizing that the heavy lifting is done in the mind, so the body can move with ease. There is no delay in spiritual law. Time is a distance between 2 points in space. But in consciousness, everything is here and now. The delay you experience is psychological, not factual. It is the time it takes for you to persuade yourself. The moment you are fully persuaded, the manifestation is there. The time lag is simply your own doubt dragging its feet. If you could believe with absolute certainty right now, it would manifest right now. You keep checking the mailbox for something you have already received. This constant checking is the proof that you don't believe you have it. If you knew the check was on your desk, you wouldn't be checking the mailbox. You must reach the state of, it is done. When you reach that state, you stop checking. You relax. You go about your day. And in that relaxation, the delivery happens. Have you touched them in the silence? This is the practical application. Silence is the medium of miracles. The noise of the world is designed to distract you from your own power. The news, the social media, the gossip, it is all noise meant to keep you focused on the lack. You must retreat into the silence. In the silence, the senses of the body are muted and the senses of the soul are awakened. In the silence, you can touch the millions. You can feel the texture of the money. You can smell the leather of the new car. You can hear the ocean from the balcony of your beach house. This inner touching is the real possession. When you touch it in the silence, you have claimed it. You have stamped it with your seal. It is marked for delivery. Do not underestimate the power of these silent moments. They are more productive than 1,000 hours of busy work. Because in silence, the receiving happens. Reception is a passive-active state. You are active in your imagination, but passive in your resistance. You are allowing. Most people are blocking. They are putting up walls of worry, walls of how, walls of when. In the silence, you take down the walls. You become an open vessel. The law of reception is simply the law of non-resistance. The good is trying to get to you. It is pressing against you. But you are fighting it off with your belief in difficulty. Stop fighting. Surrender to your own good. Let the millions in. They want to be with you. They want to be expressed through you. You are the outlet for God's opulence. If you block the outlet, the power cannot flow. The physical world is only a delayed reflection of the inner activity of your soul. Think of a star. The light you see tonight may have been generated thousands of years ago. It took time to travel across the darkness to reach your eye. The physical reality you see today, your bank balance, your job, your house, is the light from the star of your past consciousness. It is the reflection of who you were yesterday, last month, last year. It is old news. Do not be defined by old news. If you want a new star to shine, you must ignite it in your consciousness today. Igniting it today means feeling wealthy today, regardless of the shadow on the ground. The shadow will eventually fade and be replaced by the light of the new star. But you must be loyal to the new star before you can see its light in the physical world. The millions are already here. This is the mantra of the great recognition. Say to yourself when you wake up, Say it to yourself when you pay a bill. It is already here. This dissolves the anxiety of absence. If it is already here, you don't need to panic. If it is already here, you don't need to envy others. You have your own. This truth changes your physiology. Your shoulders drop. Your breathing deepens. Your heart rate slows. You move from the fight or flight sympathetic nervous system to the rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system. And it is in the rest and digest state that healing happens, inspiration happens, and manifestation happens. Stress repels money. Peace attracts it. Be at peace. The treasure is secured. You are the house. A house does not chase its furniture. The furniture is brought into the house. You are the dwelling place of God. You are the temple. All beautiful things belong in the temple. Why are you acting like a stranger in your own home? Why are you standing on the front lawn looking through the window wishing you could go in? You have the key. The key is your I am. Unlock the door. Go inside. Sit on the throne. The feast is prepared. The table is spread. The servants, which are the forces of the universe, are waiting for your command. But you cannot command from outside. You must go in. You must occupy the state. When we talk about the great recognition, we are talking about recognizing your partnership with the infinite. You are not a solitary figure fighting against a hostile universe. You are an extension of the creative source. The source wants to express glory through you. It wants to experience luxury through you. It wants to know the joy of generosity through you. Your desire for millions is not a greedy human desire. It is a divine desire for expansion. God wants to be more in you. Allow Him. Do not restrict the flow with false humility. There is nothing spiritual about poverty. Poverty limits your ability to help, to give, to create. Wealth expands your reach. Recognize your desire as holy. Recognize your ambition as divine. If you can appropriate the state of wealth now, the world has no choice but to reshape itself around you. To appropriate means to take possession of something without asking permission. You do not ask permission to breathe the air. You just breathe. You do not ask permission to occupy the state of wealth. You just occupy it. It is your birthright. When you appropriate the state, you change your energetic signature. You become a magnet. Iron filings do not argue with a magnet. They just move. Circumstances do not argue with a strong conviction. They just move. People do not argue with a person who knows who they are. They just move. The world is fluid to the person who is solid. Be solid in your conviction. This introduction is your wake-up call. It is the bell tolling in the tower of your soul. It is calling you to come home. Home is the state of abundance. You have been a prodigal son, wandering in the land of lack, eating the food of swine, thinking you were unworthy. But the Father, your higher self, has been waiting on the porch the whole time, watching for your return. He has the robe, the ring, and the fatted calf ready. The ring represents authority. The robe represents the new identity. The fatted calf represents the material abundance. It is all ready. You don't have to earn it. You just have to come home. Come home to the consciousness of wealth. Come home to the feeling of security. Come home to the great recognition that it was yours all along. As you listen to the rest of this video, keep this foundation in mind. Everything we will discuss, the techniques, the laws, the shifts, is built on this bedrock truth. You are not creating something from nothing. You are recognizing something that already is. You are tuning in. You are aligning. You are allowing. The struggle is over. The striving is done. The millions are here. Open your eyes, not your physical eyes, but the eyes of your imagination, and see the fields are white for harvest. The harvest is you. The reaper is you. The crop is you. It is all you. Now, let us begin the work of receiving. We must begin by redefining the very instrument you use to navigate your reality, because until you understand the tool, you will never master the craft. See, your imagination is not a toy. It is not a trivial diversion to pass the time while you wait for the bus. It is not a place to escape when the world becomes too hard. It is the womb of reality. It is the Holy of Holies, where the seed of God is planted and where the children of your future are conceived. When we speak of the womb, we are speaking of a place of darkness and mystery and infinite potential. A place where something that has no form takes on form. A place where the invisible becomes visible. Your imagination is exactly this. It is the matrix of all creation. Everything you see in the physical world, the buildings, the cars, the clothes, the money, was once a fluid, invisible thought in the womb of a human imagination. If you treat your imagination as a playground for idle daydreams, you will produce a chaotic life. But if you treat it as the laboratory of God, you will produce miracles. When you imagine vividly, not passively, but actively, you are performing a sacred act. You are placing the order with the infinite. You are sealing the contract with the universe. You are calling forth the unseen from the vast reservoir of unformed energy and giving it a specific shape and a specific destiny. Let us distinguish between passive fancy and active imagination. Passive fancy is when you look at a magazine and wish you had that life, but deep down you feel separated from it. It is a weak, fleeting hope that dissolves the moment you close the page. Active imagination is different. Active imagination is aggressive. It is an act of spiritual appropriation. It is when you enter into the scene of your desire and you shut the door behind you. You do not just look at the money, you pick it up. You do not just watch the car drive by, you get behind the wheel. You engage the senses of the soul. You touch the texture of the reality you desire. If you see yourself wealthy in the mind with all the clarity and feeling of the senses, the world must take the shape of your inner scene. It cannot do otherwise. This is because the subconscious mind, which is the womb, does not know the difference between a physical fact and an imaginal act. If you impress it with the feeling of reality, it accepts that feeling as a command to create. It begins to weave the threads of your life into a new pattern. It begins to move people and circumstances to fulfill the image you have implanted. This is not magic, it is the mechanics of consciousness. You are placing the order, but you must understand that this order is not a request. It is a decree. When you imagine, you are not asking God if you can please have it. You are stepping into the identity of the one who already has it. This shift in identity is the moment of conception. Just as in the physical world, there is a moment where the seed meets the egg and life begins. So too in the spiritual world, there is a moment of conception. It is that moment when your desire meets your faith and you feel a sudden click of relief. You feel it is done. You may not see the baby yet. You may not see the money yet, but you know that something has happened. You are spiritually pregnant with your desire. And just like a physical pregnancy, there is a gestation period. This is where most people fail. They conceive the idea, but they do not know how to carry it to term. They abort the seed through doubt and impatience. We must learn the art of carrying the vision. We must learn how to protect the womb of the mind from the harsh blows of the outer world. If you see yourself wealthy in the mind, you must maintain that vision against the evidence of the senses. This is the battleground. Your senses will tell you that you are broke. Your bank account will scream lack. Your friends will talk about the bad economy. This is the noise of the world. You must retreat into the womb of imagination. In that womb, the economy is booming. In that womb, you are limitless. In that womb, you are safe. When you imagine vividly, you are building a prototype of your future. You are the architect. You do not start building the house without a blueprint. The imaginal act is the blueprint. You must make the details clear. You must make the feeling intense. You must walk through the halls of your imaginary mansion until you know the floor plan by heart. You must count the money in your imaginary vault until you know the feeling of the bills. This familiarity is what hardens the image into fact. The more familiar you are with your inner state, the more quickly it will externalize. But here is the key. You must let go. This sounds contradictory to what I just said, but it is the other half of the cycle. You conceive through intense focus, but you give birth through release. Let go of the needing, the grasping, the checking. Think of a farmer. He works the soil, he plants the seed with great intention. That is the active phase. But once the seed is in the ground, he covers it up. He releases it to the earth. He does not stand over it and scream at it to grow. He does not dig it up every hour to see if it has roots. If you plant a seed and keep digging it up to see if it is growing, you kill it. You expose it to the light before it is ready. You disturb the delicate alchemy of the soil. So it is with your manifestations. Your desire is the seed. It is perfect. It contains the entire DNA of the fulfillment. Your imagination is the soil. It is rich and fertile. Your feeling is the water that activates the life within the seed. And your confidence, your letting go, is the sunlight that pulls the life upward. You don't rush the tree, you just know the fruit will come. Can you imagine a farmer pacing back and forth in his field, sweating and crying because he doesn't see the harvest the day after planting? We would call him a fool. We would say he does not understand the laws of nature. Yet this is exactly how you behave with your millions. You plant the seed of wealth on Monday, and by Tuesday afternoon you are panicking because the check hasn't arrived. You are rushing the tree. You are trying to force a natural process. The creation of wealth is a natural process of the spirit. It has its own rhythm. It has its own appointed hour. Your anxiety does not speed it up, it slows it down. Anxiety is a frost that freezes the ground. Faith is the warmth that encourages growth. Why rush your millions? They are already rooted, already formed, already arriving. The moment you conceived the state of wealth, the bridge of incidents began to form. The people you need to meet started moving toward you. The ideas you need to have started rising to the surface. It is all in motion. Your work is not to make it happen. This is the great liberation. You do not have to physically manufacture the millions with your bare hands. You do not have to manipulate the markets. You do not have to force doors open. Your work is to not block it. And how do you block it? By doubting it, by needing it, by obsessing over its absence. Needing implies lack. If you need air, it means you are suffocating. If you need water, it means you are dying of thirst. If you need money, it means you are poor. The universe reflects your state. If you stay in the state of need, the universe will give you more opportunities to need. You must move from the state of needing to the state of having. How can you have it when you don't see it? You have it in the womb. A pregnant woman has a baby. She may not hold it in her arms yet, but she has it. She eats for two. She breathes for two. She plans for two. She does not say, I hope I get a baby. She says, I am having a baby. You must say, I am having millions. It is a present progressive reality. The moment you return to the feeling of lack, you step out of reception. You step out of the flow. You pinch the hose. But when you feel it real, even for just a few moments, you step back into your wealth. You open the valve. This practice of feeling it real is the daily watering of the seed. You do not need to do it for hours. You just need to touch the reality of it. Can you close your eyes right now and feel the relief of financial freedom? Can you feel the tension leaving your shoulders? Can you feel the security of a full bank account? That feeling is the water. Every time you access that feeling, you are watering the seed. You are telling the subconscious, yes, this is still my reality. Keep working on it. Consistency is more important than intensity. A gentle rain every day is better than a flood once a year. Visit your inner wealth daily. Dwell in it. Bathe in it. Make it your home. You are not attracting anything. You are selecting. The word attraction implies that the thing is far away, and you must pull it towards you with effort. The word selection implies that the thing is right in front of you and you simply have to choose it. The millions are not in a distant galaxy. They are one of the infinite possibilities that exist right now in the quantum field. You are selecting the timeline where you are wealthy. You select it by your attention. What you give your attention to is what you select. If you give your attention to your debts, you are selecting debt. If you give your attention to your abundance, you are selecting abundance. Your imagination is the selector. It is the cursor on the screen of reality. Where you point the cursor and click is what opens up. Click on wealth. Click on freedom. Click on joy. And keep the cursor there. Do not let it drift back to the old programs of lack. The moment you feel wealthy, the world begins to reorganize. Not by your effort, but by spiritual law. We must understand the concept of reorganization. When you drop a stone into a pond, the water reorganizes itself into ripples. The water has no choice. The stone forced a new pattern. When you drop a new conviction into the pond of your consciousness, Your reality must reorganize itself into ripples of effect. People move, opportunities shift, money flows. You might get a call from an old friend with a business idea. You might get a sudden urge to buy a certain stock. You might get fired from your job only to be forced into your true calling. This is the reorganization. Do not judge the chaos that sometimes precedes the order. When you renovate a house, it looks messy before it looks beautiful. If your life gets a little messy after you imagine wealth, do not panic. It is the universe moving the furniture to make room for the new. Trust the reorganization, all because you finally believed. Belief is the atmosphere in which the womb functions. If the womb is cold, the seed dies. Belief is the heat. It is the incubation. You must believe in the reality of your imaginal act more than you believe in the reality of the news. You must believe in your inner voice more than the voices of your critics. This is a solitary path. No one can believe for you. You must stand alone in the knowledge of your own power. You must be the guardian of the womb. Do not let the skeptics perform an abortion on your dreams. Do not cast your pearls before swine. Keep your vision secret. Keep it sacred. Nurture it in the dark until it is strong enough to stand in the light. Receive now. Receive as though it's already happened, because it has. The act of receiving is an internal posture. It is a relaxation of the will. When you are fighting, you are closed. When you are resting, you are open. Receive the feeling of dignity that comes with wealth. Receive the feeling of options. Receive the feeling of generosity. You can feel all of these things without a dime in your pocket. And as you feel them, you become a vibrational match for the money. You become the kind of person that money likes to be around. Money is energy. It is attracted to those who are at ease with it. If you are desperate, you repel it. If you are grateful, you invite it. Be the host of your wealth, not the chaser of it. Speak like it, think like it, move like it, sleep like it. This is total immersion. You cannot be a part-time millionaire in your mind. You must be a full-time resident. Watch your words. Do not say, I can't afford it. Say, I choose not to buy that right now. Watch your thoughts. Do not envy rich people. Bless them because they are showing you what is possible for you. Watch your movements. Do not walk with the slump of defeat. Walk with the stride of victory. Watch your sleep. Do not fall asleep worrying. Fall asleep in the assumption that your wish is fulfilled. Your subconscious mind works hardest while you sleep. Give it a blueprint of success to build while you rest. If you do this for 30 days, you will not recognize your life. You will have shifted your entire energetic signature. You no longer need permission to be rich. The world has conditioned you to think you need permission. You need a degree. You need a certification. You need a patron. You need luck. This is the slave mentality. The creator mentality knows that the only permission required is self-authorization. You authorize yourself. You sign your own check. You crown yourself. Who gave the lion permission to be the king of the jungle? No one. He just is. Who gave the eagle permission to fly high? No one. He just does. You are nature's highest creation. You have the spark of the divine. You do not need a license to prosper. The desire in your heart is the license. The imagination in your mind is the engine. The only permission required was your own, and you've just given it. The womb of reality is waiting for your seed. It is indifferent to what you plant. It will grow poison ivy just as quickly as it will grow roses. It will grow poverty just as faithfully as it will grow wealth. It creates whatever you imagine with equal perfection. This places the responsibility squarely on your shoulders. You cannot blame the soil if you planted weeds. You must become a conscious gardener. You must watch the womb. What are you conceiving right now? Are you conceiving a disaster or a triumph? Are you conceiving sickness or health? You are always pregnant with something. Make sure it is something you want to give birth to. Consider the intimacy of the womb. It is a private place. Your relationship with your imagination is the most intimate relationship you will ever have. It is closer than your marriage. It is closer than your friendship. It is the conversation you have with God. Treat it with reverence. Do not pollute the womb with the violence of the world. Keep it pure. Keep it focused. Keep it filled with images of the good, the beautiful, and the true. When you honor your imagination, you honor the Creator who gave it to you, and the Creator rewards those who honor His gifts. The birth of your millions is inevitable if you do not interrupt the gestation. The law of gender states that every seed has a gestation period. An idea has a gestation period. You do not know how long it is. It might be an hour. It might be a month. It might be a year. Your job is not to measure the time, but to hold the space. Hold the space of faith. Hold the space of expectancy. Be like the mother who knits clothes for the baby that hasn't arrived yet. She prepares the nursery. She buys the crib. She is acting in faith. You must prepare the nursery for your millions. Organize your finances. Plan your investments. Decide which charities you will support. This preparation tells the womb that you are ready to deliver. So look into the mirror of your mind. See the millions there. See the freedom there. Do not let the image fade. Feed it with your love. Warm it with your gratitude. It is alive. It is growing. It is kicking. Soon the water will break. Soon the manifestation will push its way into the visible world, and when it arrives, you will hold it in your hands and say, I knew you, I carried you, you are mine. This is the miracle of the womb. This is the power of your imagination. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, use it to birth a life that glorifies the God within you. The millions are just the beginning. The real treasure is the discovery of who you really are, the conscious creator of your own destiny. That statement may sound radical at first, especially in a world obsessed with effort, striving, and endless improvement. We are born into a culture that glorifies the grind. From the moment you enter the school system, you are taught that the prize goes to the one who bleeds the most. You are taught that your value is determined by your exhaustion. You are taught that money is a difficult thing to capture, and that you must hunt it down with sweat and tears and sleepless nights. But I am here to offer you the antidote to this madness. I am here to declare the end of striving. The truth is simple, yet it is the hardest truth for the human ego to accept. Everything you could ever desire already exists in the unseen realm, waiting for you not to earn it, not to chase it, but to receive it. The millions you want are not something you have to build brick by brick with your physical hands. They are a state of consciousness that you must enter. The difference between the struggling man and the wealthy man is not the amount of effort they exert, but the state of mind they inhabit. The struggling man is trying to turn stones into bread with his physical will. The wealthy man knows the bread is already on the table, and he simply sits down to eat. You are not here to create the millions, the love, the health, or the success. You are here to align with the version of yourself that already has it. There is nothing outside of you to chase. Let this sentence sink into the deepest part of your soul. There is nothing outside of you. The world you see is a projection of the world you are. If you are chasing money, you are declaring that money is outside of you and running away from you. Chasing implies separation. You cannot chase what you are. You cannot chase what you have. Therefore, the very act of striving is a declaration of lack. It is a loud cosmic scream that says, I do not have this. And the universe, which is a faithful mirror, replies, you are right, you do not have it. And it keeps the money just out of reach. It keeps the carrot dangling just a few inches in front of your face. You run faster and the carrot moves faster. This is the wheel of karma. This is the treadmill of the sleeper. To stop the wheel, you must stop the chasing. You must stop the striving. You must realize that the moment you conceive the desire, it was already answered. Not in some vague future, but instantly. The desire itself is the proof of the fulfillment. You could not desire the millions if the millions did not already exist within your potential. The desire is the shadow cast by the reality of the thing entering your atmosphere. Because in the spiritual dimension there is no time. Time is a mechanism for the physical body to experience things in sequence. But the spirit stands outside of time. In the eternal now, all things are finished. All possibilities are complete. All outcomes are already written. Imagine a vast library that contains every book that has ever been written and every book that ever will be written. One book is titled, The Life of You, the Struggle. Another book is titled, The Life of You, the Millionaire. Another book is titled, The Life of You, the Failure. They are all sitting on the shelf right now. You do not have to write the book of the millionaire. It is already written. The ink is dry. The story is complete. Your job is not to write the story, but to pick the page. Your job is to take that book off the shelf and start reading it. You read it by stepping into that character. You read it by feeling the emotions of that version of you. What you call manifestation is simply the unfolding of what already is. It is the selection of a pre-existing reality. This removes the burden of creation from your shoulders. You do not have to figure out how to make the millions. The how is already written in the book. You just have to occupy the state of the protagonist. The millions you seek are not waiting in a bank account somewhere in Switzerland. They are waiting in consciousness. Consciousness is the only reality. Money is nothing but paper or digital code. It has no value in itself. The value is a projection of consciousness. If you have the consciousness of wealth, the money finds you. If you have the consciousness of poverty, the money flees you. Your state of being is your selection mechanism. Each day, each hour, each moment, you are choosing what version of reality you dwell in. You are a radio tuner. The broadcast of Wealth FM is playing right now. It is broadcasting ideas, opportunities, and windfalls. But if your dial is set to struggle AM, you will only hear the static of hard work and disappointment. You cannot hear the music of wealth on the frequency of struggle. Striving is the static. Striving is the noise that blocks the signal. You must quiet the noise. You must tune the dial. The tuning is done not by outer effort, but by your assumptions, your feelings, your self-concept. It is your energy signature, the inner frequency you live in, that determines what you touch in the outer world. The world does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are being. This is the hard law that explains why good people suffer and why people who work 3 jobs stay poor. They are being the victim. They are being the struggler. They are being the one who has to fight for every scrap. The universe respects their free will and gives them exactly what they are being. It gives them a fight. It gives them a struggle. If you want the world to give you ease, you must be ease. If you want the world to give you abundance, you must be abundance. You may repeat affirmations endlessly, visualize for hours, or hustle non-stop. But if your state is one of lack, fear, or striving, then that is what will echo back to you. The affirmation "I am rich" spoken from a state of anxiety is actually an affirmation of anxiety. The universe hears the anxiety, not the words. You cannot fool the law. You must actually shift the state. But the moment you shift inwardly, everything responds. This is the promise. The world is fluid. It looks solid, but it is not. It is made of atoms, and atoms are mostly empty space held together by energy. Your consciousness is the energy that holds the atoms in place. When you change your consciousness, the atoms must rearrange. You don't need to fight circumstances. Fighting circumstances is like fighting your reflection in the mirror. You will only bruise your hand. You do not need to wait. Waiting is a state of consciousness that creates more waiting. If you say, "I am waiting for my money," the universe says, "Okay, keep waiting." You must say, "I have my money." You only need to see the invisible and live from it. It is in your inner world that reality is shaped. And once the inner condition is assumed as true without resistance, without contradiction, the outer world must reflect it. This is law. It is not luck. It is not favor. It is mechanical certainty. So many ask, where is it? Why hasn't it come yet? And the answer is, it has. You simply haven't received it. You are blocking the doorway with your striving. Imagine a delivery man trying to bring a pile of gold into your house, but you are standing in the doorway, swinging a sword, fighting invisible enemies, screaming, "I have to work hard." The delivery man cannot get in. You are too busy trying to get rich to actually receive the riches. You must put down the sword. You must step aside. You must open the door. You are still looking with eyes of disbelief. You are still measuring with the ruler of the senses. But the senses lie. They show you only the past. The senses show you the harvest of the seeds you planted last year. If you look at your empty bank account and say, "I am broke," you are planting the same seed again. You are perpetuating the cycle. You must ignore the senses. You must become blind to the evidence of the world and seeing only to the evidence of your imagination. Your present state, your new assumption, that is the cause. And the world will bend to it when you no longer doubt. The wise do not chase. They do not wait. They do not plead. They assume, they accept, and they rest. This rest is not the rest of the lazy. It is the rest of the confident. It is the poise of the lion. The lion does not run around the jungle frantically looking for food. He knows he is the king. He rests until the moment is right, and then he takes what is his. This is the attitude you must cultivate. The attitude of, it is mine. Not I hope I get it, but it is mine. Because they know that creation is finished. They know that once a thing is claimed in consciousness, the universe rearranges itself in silence to reflect it. The rearrangement happens in the dark. It happens behind the scenes. You don't see the roots growing under the soil. You don't see the business deal being discussed in a boardroom halfway across the world that will eventually benefit you. But it is happening. Your striving only disturbs the soil. Your trust allows the roots to deepen. You don't build the bridge, you cross it. This is a crucial distinction. In the bridge of incidents concept, we understand that a series of events will lead you to your desire. Most people think they have to build this bridge. They think I have to get this degree, then get this job, then meet this person. They try to engineer the path. But you cannot engineer the path because your logical mind cannot see the billions of variables involved. The infinite intelligence within you, your imagination, sees all the variables. It builds the bridge. It might lead you to lose your job so you can start the business that makes you millions. If you were striving, you would fight the job loss. You would try to fix the bridge. But if you are, in the end, you trust the bridge, you walk it even when it looks like a setback. You cross it with faith, knowing it leads to the destination you have already claimed. You don't invent the path, you walk it because it was always there. It was there the moment you desired the end. There is a version of you who is already living in the millions, already receiving them with ease, already embodying wealth, freedom, and confidence. That version of you is not separate. It is not a different person. It is you at a different frequency. Think of water. Ice, water, and steam are all the same substance vibrating at different rates. The broke you is ice frozen, stuck, hard. The wealthy you is steam, expansive, free, powerful. You do not have to become a different substance. You just have to raise your temperature. You raise your temperature by passion, by feeling, by the fire of imagination. That version of you is a state, a frequency, and it is always available to you the moment you decide to be it. You can switch states in the blink of an eye. You can be depressed one moment and ecstatic the next. Why do you think it takes time to switch from poor to rich? It only takes time because you believe it takes time. The switch is instantaneous in the spirit. So stop trying to make it happen. Start living as though it already did. This living as though is not faking it to trick others. It is practicing it to convince yourself. Walk through your day as one who is rich. How does a rich person walk? They walk without hurry. They walk with a sense of security. They are not scanning the room for threats. They are not scanning the prices for bargains. They are present. They are enjoying the moment. Start doing this now. Not to impress anyone, not to prove anything, but because you know. Because you've already claimed the end. Because you've touched the unseen and believed it more than the visible. When you do this, you signal to your subconscious that the struggle is over. And when the subconscious accepts that the struggle is over, it stops creating struggle. It starts creating flow. It starts bringing you the lucky breaks that seem to happen only to other people. Those breaks happen to people who have ended the striving. Most people believe they are reactors waiting for the right conditions, the right timing, or the right opportunities to come along. They are waiting for the economy to improve. They are waiting for the perfect business partner. They are waiting for the kids to grow up. This is the trap of the reactor. The reactor is a slave to the external world. They look outside and assume that whatever happens out there determines what they feel within. But this is the great error of the world. The lie passed from generation to generation that circumstances hold the power. Circumstances are dead things. They have no life of their own. You give them life by your reaction. If you react to a bill with fear, you energize the bill. You give it power over you. If you react to a setback with despair, you feed the setback. You must stop reacting and start enacting. You must enact the law of your own being. You must determine how you feel regardless of the circumstance. They do not hold the power. You are the operant power, your inner state. You are the generator. The thoughts you dwell on, the emotions you live in, the assumptions you carry, this is the root of everything you experience in the outer world. The world is not doing anything to you. It is doing everything for you in response to who you are being. Even the bad things are doing something for you. They are showing you what you are creating so you can change it. The world is a feedback loop. If you don't like the feedback, change the input. The input is your state. Striving is a corrupted input. It tells the system error, I am not enough. And the system outputs error, not enough money. Alignment is the correct input. It tells the system I am abundance. And the system outputs abundance. You are not here to observe life like a passive witness. You are here to command life with your inner convictions. Not through force, not through effort, but through assumption. A command is not a scream. A true king does not scream. A true king whispers, and the army moves. Your assumption is the whisper. When you assume I am wealthy, you are whispering to the atoms of the universe, and the atoms obey. The moment you dare to believe something new about yourself, the world, though it may appear unchanged, begins to shift around you. The shift is subtle at first. You might notice people treating you with more respect. You might find money on the street. You might get a refund you didn't expect. These are the first ripples. Do not dismiss them. They are the evidence that the striving has ended and the receiving has begun. The moment you declare yourself rich, loved, healthy, or free, and live from that place, the unseen moves to make it real. You don't have to see the evidence first, and in fact you never will, because you are the cause, not the effect. You must understand the hierarchy of reality. Spirit is first, mind is second, matter is third. Matter is the lowest level of reality. It is the sediment of spirit. You cannot change the sediment by stirring the sediment. You must go to the source. You must go to the spirit. This is why striving in the material world is so exhausting and inefficient. You are trying to move heavy matter with heavy matter. But if you move to the realm of spirit, you can move mountains with a thought. The end of striving is the beginning of leverage, spiritual leverage. This is why nothing changes when you wait. Waiting is the language of powerlessness. It's the posture of someone who believes life must grant them permission. Please, universe, can I be rich now? The universe says, I don't know, can you? You are the one who grants the permission. But life only reflects what you are conscious of being. If you wait to feel abundant until money shows up, you remain in the energy of lack. And life reflects lack. This is the catch-22 that keeps billions of people in poverty. They need the money to feel the feeling, but they need the feeling to get the money. You must break the loop. You must be the one to go first. You must feel the feeling without the money. This is the act of courage. This is the act of faith. And this is the act that ends the striving. If you wait to feel confident until someone validates you, you remain in the energy of doubt, and life reflects rejection. You become a beggar for validation, and beggars are despised. But the moment you validate yourself, the moment you choose a new inner state boldly without evidence, you shift the signal. You become the source of validation. You become the source of abundance. You become the operant power. When you finally take responsibility for your state, regardless of what appears outside, when you understand that your emotions are not reactions, they are instructions. This is a profound shift. Your emotions are instructions to the universal mind. When you feel joy, you are instructing the universe, more of this, please. When you feel frustration, you are instructing, more of this, please. The universe doesn't understand, I don't want this. It only understands the feeling. So when you strive and struggle, you are instructing the universe to give you more struggle. Your thoughts are not passive, they are commands. Every time you choose to feel rich, even when your bank account says otherwise, you are issuing a new decree, and the world by law must obey. Think of it as a royal decree. When the monarch signs a paper, it becomes law. When you sign your feeling, it becomes law. This is not arrogance. This is not fantasy. This is divine truth. You are not small. You are not helpless. You are not stuck. You are the one who selects the state. And the state controls the scene. Do not be fooled by what you see. The senses are always delayed. They show you what you previously believed, not what you are choosing now. The world you see today is the receipt for the thoughts you bought yesterday. If you don't like the purchase, stop buying those thoughts. Stop buying the thought of hard work. Stop buying the thought of sacrifice. Start buying the thought of overflow. So if the world seems slow to respond, do not return to the old state. This is where most people fail. They stop striving for 2 days, and then when they don't see $1 million, they go back to striving. They say, "This doesn't work, I have to get back to the grind." And they dig up the seed. Remain faithful to the new one. The longer you persist in it, the more rapidly the mirror changes. Consistency is the key. You cannot be in the end of striving on Monday and back in the hustle on Tuesday. You must retire from the hustle permanently in your mind. You can still work, you can still create. But the internal motor of anxiety must be turned off. You work from inspiration, not from desperation. This is why the inner work is the only real work. Everything else is just moving pieces around on the board. The real game is played in the mind. If you rise each day and first establish your state before emails, before obligations, before opinions, you will master your world. Do not let the world rush you. Do not let the world tell you that you are behind. You are never behind. You are exactly where your consciousness has placed you, and you can move instantly by shifting your consciousness. Decide who you are. Decide what you have. Decide how life responds to you. Not someday, but now. Be it now, because power is never in the future. It is always in the present assumption. The future is a promissory note. The present is cash. Use the cash of the present moment to buy your freedom. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to explain. Your job is to live it inwardly until the world has no choice but to mirror it. Your silence is powerful. When you stop talking about how hard you are working and start quietly embodying the result, you become magnetic. People will wonder what your secret is. They will see a light in your eyes that wasn't there before. They will see a calm in your spirit that is unusual. That is the aura of the end of striving. It is the aura of someone who knows they have won. The game is rigged in your favor, but only if you realize you are the one who wrote the rules. Rewrite the rule that says, "I must suffer to succeed." Write a new rule that says, "I succeed because I am." Your reality is simply the echo of what you've accepted as true. So stop waiting, stop watching, stop asking when will it come. You are the operant power. It comes when you come into alignment. Step into the feeling now. Walk as the version of you who already has it. Think as that version. Speak as that version. Expect as that version. Everything you are seeking is already within you. The peace you think money will bring is already within you. The security you think millions will buy is already within you. When you access the peace and security first, the millions are just the icing on the cake. They are the inevitable side effect of your alignment. The end of striving is not the end of action. It is the end of friction. It is the beginning of flow. It is the beginning of a life where miracles are standard and struggle is a distant memory. Enter into that rest today. The work is done. The creation is finished. The millions are yours. If you feel a weight lifting off your shoulders as you hear these words, that is the feeling of alignment. You are realizing that the struggle is optional. I invite you to anchor this feeling by joining our community. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. By doing so, you are telling your subconscious mind that you are no longer available for the struggle. You are choosing the path of ease and reception. Do not let this moment of clarity fade. Commit to your new timeline. Now, let us discover why the world is simply a mirror of your internal state. So many ask the question that haunts the corridors of the human mind: where is it and why hasn't it come yet? You have visualized, and you have affirmed, and you have hoped, yet the physical evidence of your millions remains unseen. The answer is not that it is far away, nor is the answer that you are unworthy. The answer is simply that it has already come, but you have not received it because you are looking for it in the wrong place. You are staring at the mirror, waiting for the reflection to smile first. But a mirror has no power to generate a smile. A mirror is a dead thing. It is a faithful servant that can only return to you exactly what you present to it. You are still looking with eyes of disbelief. You are still measuring your success with the ruler of the senses. But I tell you now that the senses are liars. They are the great deceivers of humanity. They show you only the past. When you look at your bank account and see a lack of funds, you are not seeing the truth of your present potential. You are seeing the fossilized remains of your past thoughts. You are seeing the echo of a shout you made yesterday or last year. If you shout, "I am poor," into a canyon, the canyon shouts back, "I am poor." If you then stand there and argue with the echo saying, "No, I want to be rich," the echo will simply repeat your frustration. The world is that canyon. The world is that mirror. It has no choice but to confirm what you assume to be true. Your present state, your new assumption, is the cause. We must capitalize that word cause because it is the only God there is. Your I amness, your awareness of being, is the cause. Everything else, your job, your customers, your economy, your debt, is the effect. Most people live their entire lives trying to change the effect while leaving the cause unaltered. They try to change their financial reflection by working harder, or by manipulating people, or by stealing, or by begging. They are like a man trying to comb the hair of his reflection in the mirror. He can scrub the glass until his fingers bleed, but the reflection's hair will never change until he combs his own hair. You must take your attention away from the mirror. You must withdraw your energy from the visible world, which is just the dead skin of your past consciousness, and place all your power into the living cause, which is your present imagination. The world will bend to it when you no longer doubt. It will not bend because you force it. It will bend because it has no structure of its own. It is fluid. It is malleable. It is waiting for the imprint of your firm conviction. The wise do not chase. To chase is to admit that the thing you desire is running away from you. If you are chasing money, you are proclaiming that money is elusive. You are proclaiming that money is faster than you. And the mirror says, yes, money is elusive and it makes it harder to get. The wise do not wait. To wait is to admit that the thing you desire is not here yet. It is to live in the state of not yet. And the mirror says, okay, not yet. And it pushes your dream into the infinite future. The wise do not plead. To plead is to admit that you are a beggar and that some power outside of you holds the keys to your happiness. It is to abdicate your throne. And the mirror says, okay, you are a beggar, and it gives you crumbs. The wise assume, they accept, and they rest. This rest is the silence of the master. It is the stillness of the rock that knows it cannot be moved. They rest not because they are passive, but because they know that creation is finished. They know that the reality they desire is already a finished fact in the fourth dimension of their imagination. They know that once a thing is claimed in consciousness, the universe rearranges itself in silence to reflect it. We must speak of this silent rearrangement. You do not see the wind, but you see the trees bow. You do not see the subconscious mind working, but you see the circumstances of your life bow. When you assume the state of wealth, a massive invisible machinery begins to turn. People you need to meet start getting urged to go to certain places. Ideas you need to have start bubbling up from the depths. Accidents happen that turn out to be fortunes. This is the universe rearranging itself. It happens in the silence. It happens behind the curtain. If you peek behind the curtain by constantly checking for results, you disturb the process. You introduce the vibration of anxiety. You must trust the rearrangement. You must trust that the mirror is preparing a new reflection. It takes time for the reflection to travel from the unseen to the seen only because of your own resistance. If your faith were pure, the reflection would be instantaneous. The delay is not in the mirror. The delay is in your steadfastness. You don't build the bridge, you cross it. This bridge of incidents is the series of events that takes you from where you are physically to where you are mentally. Many people are afraid to assume they are wealthy because they don't know how it will happen. They think, I don't have a business, I don't have an education, I don't have rich parents, so how can I be rich? They are trying to build the bridge before they cross it. This is not your job. The infinite intelligence that created the universe knows a billion ways to bring you wealth that you cannot conceive of. It can bring it through a lottery win, an inheritance, a sudden market shift, a brilliant invention, or a chance meeting in an elevator. You do not define the how. The how is the domain of the mirror. The mirror determines how to reflect your face. You just determine the face. You don't invent the path, you walk it, because it was always there. It was latent. It was invisible. But your assumption lit it up. Your faith is the flashlight that reveals the path one step at a time. There is a version of you who is already living in the millions, already receiving them with ease, already embodying wealth, freedom, and confidence. This is not a metaphor. In the vast library of eternity, all versions of your life exist simultaneously. The version of you who is a beggar exists. The version of you who is a billionaire exists. They are like different suits of clothes hanging in a closet. Right now, you are wearing the suit of limitation. You are complaining that the suit is tight and uncomfortable. You are asking God to patch the suit. But God is saying, take off the suit and put on the other one. That version of you is not separate. It is not a distant hero you have to become. It is a state, a frequency, and it is always available to you the moment you decide to be it. You slip into the state of the wealthy you by capturing the feeling of that state. What does it feel like? It feels like relief. It feels like security. It feels like the absence of worry. When you inhabit that feeling, you are wearing the new suit, and the world must eventually view you as the person in that suit. So stop trying to make it happen. Making it happen is force. Force creates counterforce. The more you push against the world, the more the world pushes back. Start living as though it already did. This is flow. Flow creates ease. Walk through your day as one who is rich. How does a rich person walk? They do not rush because they own their time. They do not bow their heads in shame because they own their dignity. They look people in the eye. They speak with a calm assurance. Start practicing this today, not to impress anyone. If you are doing it to impress others, you are reacting to them and they become your master. Not to prove anything. If you are trying to prove you are rich, you are secretly doubting it. But do it because you know, because you've already claimed the end, because you've touched the unseen and believed it more than the visible. When you walk in this knowing, you generate a magnetic field. You become a strange attractor. Money starts to show up in your experience because it feels at home in your presence. Most people believe they are reactors waiting for the right conditions, the right timing, or the right opportunities to come along. They are victims of the when-then fallacy. When I get the money, then I will be happy. When I get the job, then I will feel secure. They look outside and assume that whatever happens out there determines what they feel within. But this is the great error of the world. It is the original sin of consciousness, the belief that the secondary cause is the primary cause. The lie passed from generation to generation, that circumstances hold the power. They do not. Circumstances are dead. They are the corpses of your past beliefs. Why are you letting a corpse dictate your emotions? Why are you letting a bank statement, which is just ink on paper, tell you who you are? You are the living spirit. You breathe life into the paper. The paper does not breathe life into you. They do not hold the power. You are the operant power, your inner state. This term, operant power, means the power that operates the machine. You are the operator. The world is the machine. The machine does nothing until you press the button. The button is your mood. The button is your feeling, the thoughts you dwell on, the emotions you live in, the assumptions you carry. This is the root of everything you experience in the outer world. If you dwell on thoughts of injustice, you will experience injustice. If you dwell on thoughts of gratitude, you will experience grace. The world is not doing anything to you. It is doing everything for you in response to who you are being. Even the difficult people in your life are doing something for you. They are reflecting your own inner conflict. They are showing you the parts of yourself that you have not yet loved into peace. Thank them for the reflection and then change the face you show them. Change your concept of them in your mind and they must change in your world. You are not here to observe life like a passive witness. You are here to command life with your inner convictions. Not through force, not through effort, but through assumption. A command in the spiritual sense is not a shout. It is a settlement. It is settling the matter in your own mind. When you settle the fact that you are wealthy, when you no longer debate it, when you no longer look for evidence to the contrary, that is the command. The moment you dare to believe something new about yourself, the world, though it may appear unchanged, begins to shift around you. The shift begins at the atomic level. It begins in the hearts of others. It begins in the invisible currents of commerce. You may not see the shift for a few days or a few weeks. This is the time of the hardening. Your assumption is hardening into fact. Do not disturb the hardening process by poking it with doubt. Let it set. Let it become solid. The moment you declare yourself rich, loved, healthy, or free, and live from that place, the unseen moves to make it real. Notice the word declare. To declare is to state clearly and emphatically. You must declare it to yourself. You must wake up in the morning and declare, I am wealthy. You must go to sleep at night and declare, I am wealthy. You do not have to see the evidence first. And in fact, you never will, because you are the cause, not the effect. If you wait for the evidence, you are not the cause, you are the effect. You are the tail wagging the dog. You must be the dog. You must wag the world. This is why nothing changes when you wait. Waiting is the language of powerlessness. It's the posture of someone who believes life must grant them permission. Please, may I have some more? Asking Oliver Twist. But you are not an orphan. You are the heir to the kingdom. An heir does not wait for permission to eat at his father's table. He sits down and eats. But life only reflects what you are conscious of being. Consciousness is the only reality. If you are conscious of being poor, you cannot be rich. It is a metaphysical impossibility. You cannot be in New York and London at the same time. You cannot be in the state of poverty and the state of wealth at the same time. You must leave one to inhabit the other. Leaving the state of poverty means taking your attention off of it. It means you stop talking about it. You stop thinking about it. You stop feeling it. You starve it to death. And you feed the state of wealth with your attention. If you wait to feel abundant until money shows up, you remain in the energy of lack. And life reflects lack. It reflects your waiting. It gives you more waiting. If you wait to feel confident until someone validates you, you remain in the energy of doubt, and life reflects rejection. You are walking around with a sign on your forehead that says, I doubt myself. And the world reads the sign and treats you with doubt. But the moment you take down that sign and put up a new one that says, I am confident, the world reads the new sign and treats you with respect. The moment you choose a new inner state boldly, without evidence, you shift the signal. You are a broadcasting station. You have been broadcasting Failure FM for years and wondering why your life is sad. Today you change the broadcast to Success FM. At first the signal might be weak. The static of your old doubts might interfere. But if you hold the dial steady, the signal gets stronger. And soon the music of your life changes from a dirge to a symphony. You become the operant power. When you finally take responsibility for your state, regardless of what appears outside, when you understand that your emotions are not reactions, they are instructions. This is the key. Your emotions are the instructions you give to the universal creative substance. When you feel joy, you instruct the universe to create more joy. When you feel despair, you instruct the universe to create more despair. The universe is impersonal. It does not say, oh, poor thing, let me give him a break. It says, he is ordering despair, give him the large order. You must stop ordering what you don't want. You must discipline your emotions. This does not mean suppressing them. It means transforming them. It means choosing to feel the relief of the wish fulfilled even when the problem is staring you in the face. Your thoughts are not passive, they are commands. Every thought is a prayer. Every thought is a contract. Every time you choose to feel rich, even when your bank account says otherwise, you are issuing a new decree, and the world by law must obey. Think of the law of gravity. It obeys everyone. It obeys the saint and the sinner. The law of assumption is the same. It obeys you. It is waiting for your decree. If you do not issue a decree, it will just execute the old decrees you made yesterday. You must issue a new decree today. I am the resurrection and the life of my finances. I am the magnet for miracles. I am the beloved of the universe. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is thinking you are better than others. This is spiritual dignity. It is knowing who you are. This is not fantasy. Fantasy is escaping life. This is creating life. This is divine truth. You are not small. You are not helpless. You are not stuck. The feeling of being stuck is just a state. You can step out of the state of stuck and into the state of flow in 1 second. You are the one who selects the state, and the state controls the scene. The scene is the play of life unfolding around you. If you don't like the scene, fire the playwright. You are the playwright. Write a new scene. Do not be fooled by what you see. The senses are always delayed. This is the concept of the time lag again. Imagine looking at a star that burned out 1,000,000 years ago. You still see its light. The poverty you see in your life is a star that burned out the moment you decided to be rich. But its light, its consequences are still traveling to you for a little while. Do not be fooled by the dying light. Know that the new star, the star of your wealth, has been born. Its light is coming. It is inevitable. They show you what you previously believed, not what you are choosing now. So if the world seems slow to respond, do not return to the old state. This is the test of faith. This is where most people fail. They walk on water for a few steps, look down at the waves, get scared, and sink. Keep your eyes on the vision. Do not look at the waves. Remain faithful to the new one. The longer you persist in it, the more rapidly the mirror changes. Persistence is the key that unlocks the door. You must be stubborn in your assumption. You must be unreasonable. You must be irrationally committed to your new reality. This is why the inner work is the only real work. Everything else is busy work. If you rise each day and first establish your state before emails, before obligations, before opinions, you will master your world. Make this your morning ritual. Before you check your phone, check your state. Who am I today? Am I the victim or the victor? Am I the pauper or the prince? Put on the crown before you put on your clothes. Walk out the door as royalty. The world will sense it. The world will open doors for you that are closed to others. Decide who you are. Decide what you have. Decide how life responds to you. You are the decision maker. Most people let life decide for them. They are driftwood floating on the river. You must be the swimmer. You must stroke against the current of mass consciousness and move toward your own destiny. Not someday, but now. Be it now, because power is never in the future. It is always in the present assumption. The name of God is I am, not I will be. If you want to be godlike, you must live in the I am. I am rich, I am healthy, I am free. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to explain. Your silence is your strength. When you try to explain your manifestation to others, you dilute the energy. You invite their doubt. Keep your secret. Let the results be your explanation. Your job is to live it inwardly until the world has no choice but to mirror it. Live it so intensely that you forget you don't physically have it yet. That is the point of breakthrough. When the inner reality feels more real than the outer reality, the birth is imminent. Your reality is simply the echo of what you've accepted as true. An echo cannot speak on its own. It only repeats. The world only repeats what you say. So stop waiting, stop watching, stop asking when will it come. You are the operant power. It comes when you come into alignment. Alignment means there is no friction between what you desire and what you feel. If you desire money but feel worry, there is friction. If you desire money and feel wealthy, there is alignment. Step into the feeling now. Walk as the version of you who already has it. Think as that version. Speak as that version. Expect as that version. Everything you are seeking is already within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The kingdom of wealth is within you. It is all a matter of externalization. You are turning the inside out. You are pressing your inner seal upon the wax of the world. The wax must take the shape of the seal. Be a seal of beauty. Be a seal of abundance. Be a seal of love. And let the mirror reflect the glory of the God that you are. We have arrived at the fulcrum upon which your entire life balances. This is the chapter where we stop blaming the world and start ruling it. You are the operant power. Let those words settle into your consciousness like a heavy anchor finding the bottom of the sea. What does it mean to be the operant power? It means that the machine of reality does not run itself. The universe is a vast, complex, and beautiful engine, but it is motionless until you enter it. You are the operator. You are the battery. You are the spark. Without you, the world is a stage with no actors and a script with no readers. It is dead. It is waiting for the breath of life, and you are that breath. Your inner state is the power, the thoughts you dwell on, the emotions you live in, the assumptions you carry. These are not merely private internal events. They are the currents of electricity that drive the machinery of your circumstances. This is the root of everything you experience in the outer world. The world is not doing anything to you. It is doing everything for you in response to who you are being. If you feel the world is punishing you, it is only because you are punishing yourself in the secret chambers of your mind. If you feel the world is blessing you, it is because you have blessed yourself in the silence of your soul. You are not here to observe life like a passive witness. Most people live their lives as if they are watching a movie they did not write. They sit in the audience of their own existence, booing the villain and cheering the hero, hoping for a happy ending, but feeling powerless to change the plot. You must leave the audience and step onto the stage. You must realize that you are the writer, the director, and the lead actor. You are here to command life with your inner convictions, not through force, not through effort, but through assumption. A command in the spiritual realm is not a scream. It is a settlement. It is a quiet inner knowing that refuses to be shaken. When you assume a state, you are issuing a command to the atoms of the universe. You are telling them how to arrange themselves. You are telling people how to treat you. You are telling money where to flow. The moment you dare to believe something new about yourself, the world, though it may appear unchanged, begins to shift around you. It has to shift. It has no volition of its own. It is under the compulsion of your consciousness. The moment you declare yourself rich, loved, healthy, or free, and live from that place, the unseen moves to make it real. This declaration is not just a verbal affirmation. It is an energetic signature. You are constantly broadcasting a signal. If your signal is "I am needy," the universe picks up that signal and manifests more need. If your signal is "I am abundant," the universe picks up that signal and manifests abundance. You do not have to see the evidence first. And in fact, you never will, because you are the cause, not the effect. This is the hierarchy of creation. You are the first cause. The evidence is the second effect. If you wait for the effect to prove the cause, you are trapped in a loop of time. You are waiting for the reflection in the mirror to smile so you can smile. It will never happen. You must smile first. You must initiate. The operant power is always the initiator. The world is always the responder. This is why nothing changes when you wait. Waiting is the language of powerlessness. It is the posture of someone who believes life must grant them permission. We are trained from childhood to wait for permission. We wait for permission to speak, to eat, to play. We grow up and wait for permission to be rich. We wait for the economy to give us permission. We wait for the boss to give us permission. We wait for the bank to give us permission. But you are the operant power. You do not need permission. You need alignment. Life only reflects what you are conscious of being. If you wait to feel abundant until money shows up, you remain in the energy of lack. And life reflects lack. It gives you more waiting. It gives you more almost there. It gives you the carrot on the stick. But you never eat the carrot. To eat the carrot, you must stop running. You must stand still and realize you are the creator of the carrot. If you wait to feel confident until someone validates you, you remain in the energy of doubt, and life reflects rejection. Validation from the outside is a drug. It gives you a temporary high, but it wears off and leaves you emptier than before. True confidence comes from self-validation. It comes from the I am. When you say "I am confident," you are calling upon the name of God within you. You are identifying yourself with the quality of confidence. The world will then see you as confident and offer you the validation you stopped seeking. This is the paradox of the operant power. When you stop needing the world to give you something, the world rushes to give it to you. When you chase, the world runs. When you stand in your power, the world bows. But the moment you choose a new inner state boldly without evidence, you shift the signal. You become the operant power. This shift is the most radical act a human being can perform. It is an act of rebellion against the tyranny of the senses. The senses tell you you are broke. The senses tell you you are alone. The senses tell you it is impossible. The operant power says, I deny the evidence of the senses. I stand on the truth of my imagination. When you finally take responsibility for your state, regardless of what appears outside, you become free. Responsibility is not blame. Blame is heavy. Blame looks backward. Responsibility is power. Responsibility looks forward. It means the ability to respond. You have the ability to respond to any situation by choosing a new state. When you understand that your emotions are not reactions, they are instructions, you gain control of the machine. Your emotions are the guidance system of your reality. Most people think their emotions are reactions to what is happening. I am sad because I lost money. I am happy because I met someone. This is the victim mindset. The operant power mindset reverses this. I am creating money because I feel abundance. I am creating love because I feel loving. Your emotions are instructions to the universal field. When you feel fear, you are instructing the universe to bring you something to be afraid of. When you feel gratitude, you are instructing the universe to bring you more things to appreciate. Your thoughts are not passive. They are commands. Every thought is a seed that seeks to embody itself. Every time you choose to feel rich, even when your bank account says otherwise, you are issuing a new decree, and the world by law must obey. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is the ego trying to prove it is better than others. This is divine truth. This is humility before the law of your own being. You are acknowledging that you are made in the image of the Creator. The Creator speaks, and it is done. You speak in your heart, and it is done. You are not small. You are not helpless. You are not stuck. The feeling of being stuck is an illusion caused by looking at the mirror instead of the cause. You can never be stuck because you can always change your mind. And if you can change your mind, you can change your world. You are the one who selects the state, and the state controls the scene. The scene is the physical drama playing out in your life. If you don't like the scene, don't fight the actors. Don't fight the scenery. Change the state from which you are viewing the scene. Do not be fooled by what you see. The senses are always delayed. They show you what you previously believed, not what you are choosing now. The world you see today is a printout of your thoughts from yesterday. If you don't like the printout, don't yell at the paper. Change the document on the computer screen. The computer screen is your consciousness. The document is your self-concept. Change the self-concept, and the next printout will be different. So if the world seems slow to respond, do not return to the old state. This is the test of the operant power. This is the fire that tests your gold. Can you hold the state when the world mocks you? Can you believe you are wealthy when the bill collector calls? If you can, you have mastered the law. Remain faithful to the new one. The longer you persist in it, the more rapidly the mirror changes. This is why the inner work is the only real work. Everything else is busy work. We exhaust ourselves trying to move matter with matter. We try to force doors open. We try to convince people. We try to manipulate circumstances. It is like trying to push a mountain with your bare hands. But if you use the lever of the operant power, you can move the mountain with a touch. The lever is your imagination. The fulcrum is your faith. If you rise each day and first establish your state before emails, before obligations, before opinions, you will master your world. Do not let the world infiltrate your mind before you have set your defenses. Wake up and claim your territory. Today I am wealthy. Today I am successful. Today I am loved. Set the tone. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. The thermometer reflects the temperature of the room. The thermostat sets the temperature. Be the thermostat. Decide who you are. This is the ultimate freedom. You get to decide, not your parents, not your teachers, not your past. You decide what you have. In the realm of imagination, you can have anything. Why settle for less? Why imagine a small raise when you can imagine a fortune? Why imagine a text message when you can imagine a marriage? You are the operant power. There is no tax on imagination. It costs nothing to dream big. Decide how life responds to you. Does life fight you, or does life support you? It is your decision. If you decide life supports you, you will find evidence of it everywhere. Not someday, but now. Be it now, because power is never in the future. It is always in the present assumption. The name of God is I am. It is not I was. It is not I will be. It is I am. The power is in the present tense. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to explain. The operant power does not seek approval. When you seek approval, you are giving your power away. You are saying, my reality is not valid until you agree with it. That is slavery. Your reality is valid because you created it. Keep your visions to yourself. Cherish them. Protect them. Do not cast your pearls before swine. The swine are the doubts of others. They will trample your dreams. Your job is to live it inwardly until the world has no choice but to mirror it. Live in the secret place of the Most High. The secret place is your own mind. In that secret place you are king. You are queen. Rule well. Your reality is simply the echo of what you've accepted as true. An echo has no voice of its own. It only repeats what you say. If you don't like the echo, change the voice. Stop telling the story of your struggle. Stop telling the story of your victimization. Stop telling the story of how hard it is. Start telling the story of your glory. Start telling the story of your victory. Tell it to yourself until you believe it. And when you believe it, the echo will change. So stop waiting, stop watching, stop asking when will it come. You are the operant power. It comes when you come into alignment. Alignment is when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are all moving in the same direction. When there is no conflict. When you desire wealth and you feel wealthy and you act wealthy, that is power. Step into the feeling now. Walk as the version of you who already has it. This walking is a spiritual posture. It is a way of moving through the world with grace and authority. Think as that version. What does a wealthy person think about? They think about investment. They think about expansion. They think about legacy. They do not think about survival. Start thinking from the top of the mountain, not from the bottom. Speak as that version. Your words are wands. Do not use your words to describe the problem. Use your words to prescribe the solution. Speak only that which you want to see manifest. Expect as that version. Expectation is the womb of miracles. Expect good things. Expect favor. Expect the phone to ring with good news. When you expect, you open the door. Everything you are seeking is already within you. The peace you are looking for is not in the vacation, it is in you. The security you are looking for is not in the bank account, it is in you. The love you are looking for is not in the partner, it is in you. When you find it in you, it manifests outside of you. Not in metaphor, but in literal truths. The entire world. You long to see the wealth you hope to touch, the freedom you crave, the experiences you desire. They live now fully formed in the imagination. You are walking through a world of your own making. Every person you meet is yourself pushed out. Every circumstance is a crystallization of your own consciousness. This is the ultimate responsibility and the ultimate liberation. It means there is no one to change but self, and you have the power to change self. And imagination is not idle. It is not daydreaming. It is not escape. Imagination is creative cause. It is the engine of the operant power. It is the workshop of God. When you imagine you are doing the work, you are shifting the gears of the universe. It is the gateway to reality. If you can see it in imagination and dwell in it, not just visit it occasionally, not wish for it, but live inside it as though it were real, then it becomes yours. The key word is dwell. You must inhabit your dream. You must make it your home address. The world tells you to take action, but spirit tells you first. Imagine, because inner experience always precedes outer manifestation. The blueprint comes before the building. The thought comes before the thing. The feeling comes before the fact. Nothing appears in your world that you have not first accepted in consciousness. Whether you realized it or not, whether you intended it or not, every condition you now face was once imagined or accepted as real. This is a hard pill to swallow because it means we created our own suffering. But if you created your suffering, it means you can create your joy. You are not a victim of a random universe. You are a creator learning how to use your tools. Forgive yourself for what you created in ignorance. Now create with wisdom, The body follows the mind, the bank account follows the state. The conditions of life flow directly from the inner film you've played on repeat. So what film are you playing? Is it a tragedy? Is it a horror movie? Is it a drama? Change the genre. Play a romance. Play an adventure. Play a success story. You are the projectionist. You are the screen. You are the light. If you imagine lack even while working hard, the results will be scarce. You can work 20 hours a day, but if your internal film is lack, you will produce lack. You will lose the money as fast as you make it. If you imagine failure even while trying to succeed, your steps will falter. You will self-sabotage. You will miss opportunities. But the moment you dare to imagine wealth as real now and begin to inhabit that inner scene, you have crossed the gateway. You have engaged the operant power. You have entered a new dimension of self. Imagination is your bridge. It connects the limited you to the limitless you. You do not need to know how the millions will come, who will bring them, or what route they'll take. That's not your job. The operant power delegates the how to the wisdom of the universe. Your only task is to assume the state of the one who already has it. And imagination is how you do it. If you can close your eyes and feel yourself in the new home, driving the new car, counting the money, receiving the congratulations, and you accept it as normal, as natural, as familiar, then the bridge of incidents will begin to form. Notice the word familiar. You must make wealth familiar. You must make success familiar. The operant power works best with what is natural. Do not dismiss imagination as fantasy. It is the truth that precedes facts. The world is made of imagination. The computer you are using, the chair you are sitting on, the clothes you are wearing, all of it was once just an image in a human mind. You are using the same power that built the cities and wrote the symphonies and cured the diseases. Every invention, every fortune, every transformation began with one person who chose to believe the unseen over the seen and persisted in it. You are no different. You hold the same power. You have the same mind. You have the same I am, because imagination is divine. It is not a tool of the mind. It is the substance of reality. It is the clay and the potter. You may say, but I've imagined things before and they didn't come. And I will ask you, did you dwell in it? Or did you visit it briefly only to return to doubt, to the senses, to the old state of not yet? The operant power requires persistence. It requires loyalty. You cannot be faithful to your vision for 1 minute and unfaithful for 23 hours. You must marry your vision. Imagination does not respond to moments of wishing. It responds to assumption. An assumption means you live in the state persistently, inwardly, faithfully, even while nothing is changed outside. When you do that, the world must conform. It is not a question of if. It is not a matter of luck or timing. It is law. It is mechanical. It is precise. You move first in imagination, and the physical follows. The physical world is the caboose. Your imagination is the engine. The caboose goes where the engine goes. Do not try to push the caboose. Drive the engine. So I invite you now, see yourself as rich. Not becoming rich, but already rich. Not hoping for wealth, but dwelling in it. Sit with it. Feel the texture of that life. Let it become so real inside you that the outer world seems like a faint echo of the inner one. And then relax. Let the world reorganize itself. Let the right people appear. Let the money flow. Let the inspired ideas rise. They will come. Not because you forced them, but because you dared to receive them in imagination first. You engaged the operant power. You took your throne. And the kingdom is yours. To the world, detachment often looks like indifference. People assume that if you stop thinking about something constantly, you must not care about it anymore. But true detachment is not coldness. It is not apathy. It is confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing it is already yours. This brings us to the most critical law of the creative process, which is that imagination always precedes manifestation. There is no exception to this rule. Everything you see in the physical world is a solidified thought. The chair you sit on, the building you live in, the clothes you wear, and the money you spend all began as invisible images in the mind of a human being. The world tells you to take action first. It tells you to hustle, to grind, to force your way through obstacles. But the Spirit tells you first imagine, because inner experience always precedes outer manifestation. You cannot physically build what you have not first mentally conceived. If you try to build a life of wealth without first establishing the blueprint of wealth in your imagination, you are like a builder trying to construct a skyscraper without a plan. You will create chaos, you will create instability, and eventually the structure will collapse. You must honor the order of creation. The order is always from the inside out, from the invisible to the visible, from the assumption to the fact. Nothing appears in your world that you have not first accepted in consciousness. Whether you realized it or not, whether you intended it or not, every condition you now face was once imagined or accepted as real. This is the law of precedence. The mental act always comes before the physical fact. Most people are unaware of their mental acts. They imagine accidents, they imagine arguments, they imagine poverty, and then when these things happen, they call it bad luck. It is not bad luck. It is bad management of the imagination. You must become a conscious architect. You must realize that your imagination is the laboratory of God. In this laboratory, you forge the events of your life. If you want millions, you must first forge the consciousness of millions in the fire of your imagination. You must see it. You must feel it. You must possess it internally before you can ever hold it externally. The body follows the mind. The bank account follows the state. The conditions of life flow directly from the inner film you've played on repeat. So what film are you playing? If you imagine lack even while working hard, the results will be scarce. You can work 20 hours a day, but if your internal film is set to struggle, you will only produce more struggle. Your hard work will be drained of its power because it is fighting against the current of your own imagination. But if you imagine failure, even while trying to succeed, your steps will falter. You will self-sabotage. You will miss appointments. You will say the wrong thing. Why? Because the subconscious mind is compelled to execute the program you have given it. If the program is failure, the subconscious will find a way to fail even in the midst of opportunity. But the moment you dare to imagine wealth as real now and begin to inhabit that inner scene, you have crossed the gateway. You have reprogrammed the machine. You have given the subconscious a new directive. And because the subconscious has no will of its own, it must execute the new program. It must find the way to wealth. It must guide your hand to the right action. It must guide your feet to the right path. You have entered a new dimension of self. Imagination is your bridge. It connects the limited you of the present to the limitless you of the future. You do not need to know how the millions will come, who will bring them, or what route they'll take. That is not your job. The how is the domain of the infinite intelligence that governs the universe. Your job is the what and the end. When you try to figure out the how, you are stepping out of the realm of imagination and into the realm of logic. Logic is limited. Logic is based on the past. Logic looks at your current bank account and says, you can't be rich. Imagination looks at your potential and says you are already rich. You must trust the bridge of imagination. Do not dismiss imagination as fantasy. It is the truth that precedes facts. The world you see is made of what someone once dared to imagine. Every invention, every fortune, every transformation began with one person who chose to believe the unseen over the seen and persisted in it. You are no different. You hold the same power. Because imagination is divine. It is not a tool of the mind. It is the substance of reality. It is the clay from which the pot is made. You are the potter. If you don't like the pot, crush it and remake it. But do not blame the clay. The clay is neutral. The imagination is neutral. It will create a prison or a palace with equal ease. It waits for your touch. You may say, but I've imagined things before and they didn't come. And I will ask you, did you dwell in it, or did you visit it briefly, only to return to doubt, to the senses, to the old state of not yet? Imagination does not respond to moments of wishing. Wishing is weak. Wishing admits you don't have it. Imagination responds to assumption. And assumption means you live in the state persistently, inwardly, faithfully, even while nothing is changed outside. You must treat your imaginal act as a real event. In the fourth dimension, it is a real event. The more you return to it, the more substance you give it. When you do that, the world must conform. It is not a question of if. It is not a matter of luck or timing. It is law. You move first in imagination, and the physical follows. Imagine you are walking in front of a mirror. You move your hand, the reflection moves its hand. The reflection never moves first. The physical world is the reflection. You are the mover. If you want the physical world to move money toward you, you must move toward money in your imagination. You must embrace it. You must welcome it. You must feel the weight of it. So I invite you now, see yourself as rich. Not becoming rich, but already rich. Not hoping for wealth, but dwelling in it. Sit with it. Feel the texture of that life. Let it become so real inside you that the outer world seems like a faint echo of the inner one. And then relax. Let the world reorganize itself. Let the right people appear. Let the money flow. Let the inspired ideas rise. They will come. Not because you forced them, but because you dared to receive them in imagination first. To the world, detachment often looks like indifference. But true detachment is not coldness. It is not apathy. It is confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing it is already yours. When you are sure of something, you don't cling to it. You don't need to keep checking if it's still there. You don't need to keep rehearsing whether it will happen. You simply rest. Imagine ordering a meal at a restaurant. You don't keep calling the waiter back every 5 minutes to make sure they got your order right. You don't follow the chef into the kitchen to watch them cook. You place the order once and then you go about your evening fully expecting it to arrive. That is detachment. When you have truly claimed something in consciousness, when you have felt it real and accepted it as yours, you no longer have the urge to keep making it happen. The struggle ceases because the possession is established. The need to force, chase, or beg disappears. Why? Because you already have it within. And if it exists within, the outer must reflect it. Detachment is not giving up on your desire. Detachment is giving up the struggle for it. It is releasing the tension, the neediness, the constant mental checking. Is it here yet? Because that constant checking is not faith. It's doubt wearing a mask. The detached mind trusts the process. It doesn't worry about timing, method, or route. It knows that once the state is assumed, the result is inevitable. The how is not your job. The timing is not your concern. Your only role is to live as though it is already true, and let life deliver in its perfect, effortless way. This is why detachment is a sign of mastery. It shows that you are no longer letting the senses control you. You are no longer judging reality by what you see right now. You know that what you see now is simply the shadow of old assumptions, and that the new reality is already unfolding behind the scenes. When you are truly detached, there is no anxiety in waiting. In fact, there is no waiting at all, because in your mind it's already done. The millions are already in your account. The success is already yours. The dream life is already lived. You've shifted from hoping it comes to knowing it's mine. And here's the paradox. The more you cling to something, the further away it seems. The more you release it, the faster it comes. Not because you've stopped wanting it, but because you've stopped resisting it with your doubt. Think of a seed in the soil once planted. You don't dig it up every morning to see if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it. You give it light. You leave it alone. And one day, seemingly out of nowhere, it sprouts. Detachment works the same way. The moment you stop trying to force it, you give it the space to grow. Detachment is confidence because it says, I have already received it in my inner world, therefore it must appear in my outer world. It is not my job to control the unfolding. It is my job to remain in the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to rest in that knowing. So let go, not with resignation but with assurance. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you care enough to trust. Let go because it is already done. There is a difference between thinking of something and thinking from it. One keeps it far away, a picture in the distance. The other makes it your present reality. The difference is in the feeling. Your mind is the workshop of creation, but your feelings are the power source. Thought paints the picture. Feeling brings it to life. And the universe does not respond to empty words or lifeless images. It responds to the vivid reality you dare to feel as true. To feel it real means you don't just see it in your imagination. You touch it, hear it, smell it, taste it, live it inwardly until your senses are convinced. You are not a spectator in this inner movie. You are the one living it. If you desire wealth, don't just imagine looking at a bank balance. Imagine the weight of the cash in your hands. Feel the paper. Smell the ink. Imagine the sound of the transfer notification on your phone. Hear the specific chime. Imagine the feel of expensive fabric against your skin, the scent of leather in your new car, the taste of the champagne you drink in celebration. Engage all your spiritual senses. Make it so real in the unseen that your body forgets it hasn't happened yet. This is not wishful thinking. It is the language of creation. The subconscious mind does not argue with what you feel to be real. It accepts it as fact and moves the world to match it. It recruits the entire universe to fulfill the sensory data you have provided. And here is the secret. You must persist in the feeling until it becomes natural. Naturalness is the key to the kingdom. If it feels strange to imagine yourself rich, you are still living in the old state. Excitement is a sign of separation. If you are excited, it means you don't believe it's normal for you. But if you dwell in the scene long enough, the feeling shifts. What was once fantasy becomes familiar. That familiarity is the sign that you have impressed it upon your inner world. When you can walk through the mansion of your mind and not feel overwhelmed but feel at home, you know you have claimed it. Do not wait for proof before feeling it. That is reversing the law. Proof comes after the feeling, never before. The outer world is a shadow. It can only reflect what the inner world has already accepted. Most people dabble in imagination. They see a scene for a few seconds, then return to worry, doubt, or frustration. But that is like planting a seed and then pouring acid on it. To truly feel it real, you must protect the state. You must return to it again and again until it becomes your dwelling place. It is not enough to visualize, you must inhabit. Live inside the scene in your mind until it feels more real than the room you are in. When you close your eyes, the inner world should be more vivid than the outer world. And the beauty is, when you feel it this vividly, the need to make it happen fades. Why? Because in your inner experience, it has already happened. The outer simply has to catch up. Feeling it real is the secret signal that activates reception. It tells the unseen, this is my truth, this is my reality, this is who I am now. And once it is who you are, life must agree. You will know you have succeeded when you no longer feel the rush of excitement at imagining it, but instead feel the quiet contentment of having it. Excitement means you still see it as future. Contentment means you have received it in the now. So take the time each day to step into the inner scene. Touch it, smell it, taste it, hear it, see it. Let your inner senses make it so real that your subconscious cannot tell the difference between the imagined and the physical. The moment you claim something in consciousness, it is yours. Not in the future, not someday now. The spiritual transaction happens instantly. But for most people, the delivery feels delayed, not because it hasn't been given, but because they keep blocking it. You do not delay manifestation by the absence of action. You delay it by the presence of doubt, worry, and over-effort. The truth is simple. Once you have imagined and accepted the end, your work is to receive. And receiving does not mean constant mental strain. It does not mean forcing circumstances to hurry. It means allowing what you have already claimed to arrive without interference. Interference is when you look at the outer world and decide your desire isn't here yet. Interference is when you keep asking, why isn't it working? Interference is when you try to make the invisible visible through desperate action rather than through trust. Each time you do this, you step back into the state of not having. And the mirror of reality can only reflect that. Think of it like tuning a radio. The moment you find the right frequency, the station plays. But if you keep turning the dial out of fear that you might lose the signal, you'll distort the sound. Manifestation works the same way. Your state is your frequency. Hold it steadily and the reception is clear. The unseen is always rearranging the scene on your behalf. There are countless connections, movements, and alignments happening right now to fulfill what you have claimed. People are being positioned, opportunities are forming, resources are shifting. You cannot see the entire orchestration, but it is happening. And the less you interfere, the faster and more smoothly it unfolds. This is why knowing is more powerful than hoping. Hope still leaves space for doubt. Knowing leaves no room for it. Knowing says it is mine, it is done. And when you know, you don't poke at the process to see if it's working. You let it work. Receiving without interference is not laziness. It is mastery. It is the ability to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled while the outer catches up. It is the refusal to let present appearances dictate your belief. It is understanding that your role is not to build the bridge, but to walk it when it appears. Effort is not the same as force. Inspired action, the action that feels natural and joyful, flows from knowing. Forced action, the kind born of panic and impatience, flows from doubt. The first aligns with the unseen, the second disrupts it. When you trust the process, life has room to deliver in ways you could not have planned. But when you interfere, you shrink the channels of delivery to your own limited understanding. So stop overthinking, stop timing it, stop dissecting it. Your part was to choose the state, to feel it real, to claim it within. That is the seed. Now let it grow without digging it up every day. If you can hold the end in your mind without reaching for it, if you can move through your days with the quiet certainty that it is already yours, you will see how effortlessly the outer world bends to your inner assumption. And when it arrives, you will see clearly. It was never about making it happen. It was always about letting it happen. The millions you desire are not somewhere far away waiting for you to earn them. They are here now, fully formed, already yours in the unseen. You are not chasing. You are selecting. You are not a beggar at life's door. You are the master of the house. Creation is finished. You are the operant power. Imagination is your gateway. Detachment is your proof of confidence. Feeling it real is the signal. And receiving without interference is the final step. Nothing can be withheld from the one who dares to believe it's already done. The law is exact. The world is faithful. The unseen will never fail to rearrange the scene to match the state you have claimed within. So leave here tonight knowing that you lack nothing. That the wealth, the freedom, the abundance you long for is not on its way. It is here. Step into it now. Speak as though it is yours. Live as though it is yours. Rest as though it is yours. We arrive now at the most misunderstood and yet the most essential aspect of the law of reception. We call this chapter the art of detachment. To the unawakened mind, detachment looks like indifference. The world assumes that if you stop thinking about something constantly, you must not care about it anymore. They equate worry with love and anxiety with ambition. But I am here to tell you that true detachment is not coldness. It is not apathy. It is not giving up on your dream. It is confidence. It is the supreme kind of confidence that comes from knowing it is already yours. When you are absolutely sure that a package is waiting for you on your doorstep, you do not pace the floor wondering if it will arrive. You do not call the delivery company every 5 minutes. You go about your day, you do your work, you enjoy your life. That peace, that ease, that lack of neurotic checking is the very definition of detachment. It is the evidence of faith. It is the proof that you have moved from the state of wanting to the state of having. In the spiritual physics of wealth, you cannot want what you already have. Therefore, as long as you are frantically wanting the millions, you are affirming that you do not have them. Detachment is the bridge that takes you out of the lack of wanting and places you firmly in the security of having. You must understand that the need to force, chase, or beg disappears the moment the assumption becomes real. Why? Because you already have it within. And if it exists within, the outer must reflect it. This is the law. Detachment is not giving up on your desire. Detachment is giving up the struggle for it. It is releasing the tension, the neediness, the constant mental checking. Is it here yet? Is it working? Am I doing it right? Because that constant checking is not faith. It is doubt wearing a mask. The checking implies that you are not the operant power. It implies that there is a power outside of you that might fail. But when you know you are the operant power, you know that failure is impossible unless you fail to persist in the assumption. The detached mind trusts the process. It doesn't worry about timing, method, or route. It knows that once the state is assumed, the result is inevitable. The how is not your job. The timing is not your concern. Your only role is to live as though it is already true. and let life deliver in its perfect, effortless way. Imagine ordering a meal at a fine restaurant. You look at the menu, you select the dish you desire, and you give the order to the waiter. Once the waiter walks away, what do? Do you keep calling him back every 30 seconds to make sure he wrote it down? Do you follow the chef into the kitchen and stand over his shoulder, watching him chop the vegetables, asking, "Are you sure you're making it right?" Do you sit at the table trembling with anxiety, wondering if you will starve? Of course not. You relax. You drink your wine. You talk to your companions. You enjoy the atmosphere. Why? Because you have confidence in the system of the restaurant. You know that the order has been placed and the kitchen is working. You are detached from the mechanics of the cooking, but you are fully expectant of the meal. This is exactly how you must treat the universe. You have placed your order in the silence of your imagination. You have felt it real. Now you must let the kitchen of the infinite prepare the dish. Do not storm into the kitchen. Do not doubt the chef. Sit back and enjoy the life you have right now, knowing that the main course is on its way. This is why detachment is a sign of mastery. It shows that you are no longer letting the senses control you. You are no longer judging reality by what you see right now. You know that what you see now is simply the shadow of old assumptions, and that the new reality is already unfolding behind the scenes. When you are truly detached, there is no anxiety in waiting. In fact, there is no waiting at all, because in your mind it is already done. The millions are already in your account. The success is already yours. The dream life is already lived. You have shifted from hoping it comes to knowing it is mine. And here is the great paradox of creation. The more you cling to something, the further away it seems. Clinging is a vibration of fear. It says, "I am afraid to lose this," or "I am afraid I will never get this." That vibration repels the very thing you want. It is like trying to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more the water slips through your fingers. But if you open your hand, if you cup it gently, you can hold the water. You must hold your desire with an open hand. You must hold it with the lightness of certainty. The more you release it, the faster it comes. Not because you have stopped wanting it, but because you have stopped resisting it with your doubt. Doubt is a wall. Detachment takes down the wall. Think of a seed in the soil once planted. You do not dig it up every morning to see if it is growing. If you did that, you would expose the delicate roots to the harsh sunlight and the seed would die. You trust the process. You water it. You give it light. You leave it alone. And one day, seemingly out of nowhere, it sprouts. Detachment works the same way. The moment you stop trying to force it, you give it the space to grow. You allow the dark incubation period of the subconscious to do its work. Many people manifest up to the point of delivery and then kill the manifestation at the last minute because they get impatient. They dig up the seed. Detachment is the discipline of leaving the seed alone. It is the discipline of trusting the darkness. Detachment is confidence because it says, "I have already received it in my inner world, therefore it must appear in my outer world. It is not my job to control the unfolding. It is my job to remain in the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to rest in that knowing." This resting is what the mystics call the Sabbath. The Sabbath is not a day of the week, it is a state of consciousness. It is the state of mental rest that follows the creative act. When God created the world on the seventh day, he rested. He didn't rest because he was tired, he rested because it was finished. When you have successfully imagined your wealth and felt it real, you enter your personal Sabbath. You rest. You stop striving. You stop trying to add to the work. You simply know it is good. This mental Sabbath is the most creative state you can be in because it is a state of non-interference. It allows the universe to execute the command without your meddling. So let go not with resignation but with assurance. There is a vast difference. Resignation says, "I guess it's not going to happen, so I'll just give up." That is a state of failure. Assurance says, "I know it is happening, so I don't need to worry about it." That is a state of victory. Not because you have stopped caring, but because you care enough to trust. Let go because it is already done. There is a difference between thinking of something and thinking from it. One keeps it far away, a picture in the distance. The other makes it your present reality. When you think of $1 million, you are usually thinking of it as something you lack. When you think from $1 million, you are thinking as the person who has it. The person who has it is detached. They are not obsessed with getting money because they already have money. They are thinking about how to spend it, how to invest it, how to enjoy it. That is the feeling you must capture. The feeling of naturalness. The feeling of course, the difference is in the feeling. Your mind is the workshop of creation, but your feelings are the power source. Thought paints the picture. Feeling brings it to life. And the universe does not respond to empty words or lifeless images. It responds to the vivid reality you dare to feel as true. To feel it real means you don't just see it in your imagination. You touch it, hear it, smell it, taste it, live it inwardly until your senses are convinced you are not a spectator in this inner movie, you are the one living it. And when you live it fully, the desperate need for it to manifest physically evaporates. This is the secret. You must reach the point where the inner experience is so satisfying that you almost don't care if it manifests externally. That sounds counterintuitive, but it is the key. When you are so satisfied inwardly, you stop needing the outer confirmation. And the moment you stop needing the outer confirmation rushes in. It is drawn to your fullness, not your emptiness. If you desire wealth, don't just imagine looking at a bank balance. Imagine the weight of the cash in your hands. Imagine the sound of the transfer notification on your phone. Imagine the feel of expensive fabric against your skin, the scent of leather in your new car, the taste of the champagne you drink in celebration. Make it so real in the unseen that your body forgets it hasn't happened yet. This is not wishful thinking. It is the language of creation. The subconscious mind does not argue with what you feel to be real. It accepts it as fact and moves the world to match it. But here is where detachment plays its role. Once you have done this imaginal work, you must step back. You must engage in your daily life. You must wash the dishes, you must drive to work, you must talk to your family. But you do it with a secret. You do it with the secret knowledge that you are wealthy. This secret knowledge creates a detachment from the petty annoyances of the world. If a bill comes, you don't panic because you know you are wealthy. If someone is rude, you don't react because you know who you are. Detachment shields you from the roller coaster of the 3D world. And here is the secret. You must persist in the feeling until it becomes natural. If it feels strange to imagine yourself rich, you are still living in the old state. But if you dwell in the scene long enough, the feeling shifts. What was once fantasy becomes familiar. That familiarity is the sign that you have impressed it upon your inner world. Do not wait for proof before feeling it. That is reversing the law. Proof comes after the feeling, never before. The outer world is a shadow. It can only reflect what the inner world has already accepted. Detachment helps you persist. If you are attached, you are constantly looking for proof and getting discouraged when you don't see it. If you are detached, you don't look for proof. You assume the proof is coming. You persist in the feeling of the end, regardless of the evidence of the senses. This persistence hardens the assumption into fact. Most people dabble in imagination. They see a scene for a few seconds, then return to worry, doubt, or frustration. But that is like planting a seed and then pouring acid on it. To truly feel it real, you must protect the state. You must return to it again and again until it becomes your dwelling place. It is not enough to visualize, you must inhabit. Live inside the scene in your mind until it feels more real than the room you are in. And the beauty is, when you feel it this vividly, the need to make it happen fades. Why? Because in your inner experience, it has already happened. The outer simply has to catch up. Feeling it real is the secret signal that activates reception. It tells the unseen, this is my truth. This is my reality. This is who I am now. And once it is who you are, life must agree. You will know you have succeeded when you no longer feel the rush of excitement at imagining it, but instead feel the quiet contentment of having it. Excitement is often a trap. Excitement says, this is rare. This is unusual. I can't believe this is happening. That energy is unstable. You want the energy of relief, the energy of, thank God it's done, the energy of, this is normal for me. Detachment is the cooling of the lava. When the volcano erupts, it is hot and chaotic, but when the lava cools, it becomes solid rock. You want your manifestation to be solid rock. You want it to be a fact of life. So cool down your emotions. Move from hysterical wanting to calm having. Move from I hope to I know. So take the time each day to step into the inner scene. Touch it, smell it, taste it, hear it, see it. Let your inner senses make it so real that your subconscious cannot tell the difference between the imagined and the physical. The moment you claim something in consciousness, it is yours. Not in the future, not someday now. The spiritual transaction happens instantly. But for most people, the delivery feels delayed, not because it hasn't been given, but because they keep blocking it. You do not delay manifestation by the absence of action. You delay it by the presence of doubt, worry, and over-effort. Detachment removes the over-effort. It removes the friction. When you are detached, you glide. You move with the current of the universe instead of swimming upstream. You become a master of Wu Wei, the art of effortless action. The truth is simple. Once you have imagined and accepted the end, your work is to receive. And receiving does not mean constant mental strain. It does not mean forcing circumstances to hurry. It means allowing what you have already claimed to arrive without interference. Interference is when you look at the outer world and decide your desire isn't here yet. This is the greatest interference of all the judgment of appearances. When you judge the current moment as lacking, you freeze the lack in place. Detachment means you suspend judgment. You look at an empty bank account and you say, this is temporary, this is changing. The money is here. You don't react to the emptiness. You detach from the appearance and attach to the reality. Interference is when you keep asking, why isn't it working? The question, why isn't it working, implies that it isn't working. It is a negative affirmation. The detached mind never asks this question because it knows it is working. It knows that the seed is growing even if it can't see the sprout. Interference is when you try to make the invisible visible through desperate action rather than through trust. Desperate action always leads to ruin. It leads to bad investments. It leads to burnout. It leads to chasing the wrong opportunities. Detachment leads to inspired action. When you are detached, you hear the whisper of intuition. You get a hunch. Go here. Call this person. Buy this book. These nudges are the universe leading you across the bridge of incidents. But you can't hear the nudges if you are screaming with anxiety. Quiet down. Detach. Listen. Each time you do this, you step back into the state of not having, and the mirror of reality can only reflect that. Think of it like tuning a radio. The moment you find the right frequency, the station plays. But if you keep turning the dial out of fear that you might lose the signal, you'll distort the sound. Manifestation works the same way. Your state is your frequency. Hold it steadily, and the reception is clear. The unseen is always rearranging the scene on your behalf. There are countless connections, movements, and alignments happening right now to fulfill what you have claimed. People are being positioned. Opportunities are forming. Resources are shifting. You cannot see the entire orchestration, but it is happening. And the less you interfere, the faster and more smoothly it unfolds. The conductor of the orchestra is infinite intelligence. If you run onto the stage and try to grab the baton, you will ruin the symphony. Sit in the audience. Enjoy the music. Trust the conductor. This is why knowing is more powerful than hoping. Hope still leaves space for doubt. Knowing leaves no room for it. Knowing says it is mine. It is done. And when you know, you don't poke at the process to see if it's working. You let it work. Receiving without interference is not laziness. It is mastery. It is the ability to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled while the outer catches up. It is the refusal to let present appearances dictate your belief. It is understanding that your role is not to build the bridge, but to walk it when it appears. Effort is not the same as force. Inspired action, the action that feels natural and joyful, flows from knowing. Forced action, the kind born of panic and impatience, flows from doubt. The first aligns with the unseen, the second disrupts it. When you trust the process, life has room to deliver in ways you could not have planned. But when you interfere, you shrink the channels of delivery to your own limited understanding. So stop overthinking, stop timing it, stop dissecting it. Your part was to choose the state, to feel it real, to claim it within. That is the seed. Now let it grow without digging it up every day. If you can hold the end in your mind without reaching for it, if you can move through your days with the quiet certainty that it is already yours, you will see how effortlessly the outer world bends to your inner assumption. The world bends because it has no choice. It is soft. Your will is hard. Your faith is hard. The world must conform. And when it arrives, you will see clearly. It was never about making it happen. It was always about letting it happen. The millions you desire are not somewhere far away waiting for you to earn them. They are here now, fully formed, already yours in the unseen. You are not chasing. You are selecting. You are not a beggar at life's door. You are the master of the house. Creation is finished. You are the operant power. Imagination is your gateway. Detachment is your proof of confidence. Feeling it real is the signal. And receiving without interference is the final step. Nothing can be withheld from the one who dares to believe it's already done. The law is exact. The world is faithful. The unseen will never fail to rearrange the scene to match the state you have claimed within. So leave here tonight knowing that you lack nothing. That the wealth, the freedom, the abundance you long for is not on its way. It is here. Step into it now. Speak as though it is yours. Live as though it is yours. Rest as though it is yours. We have now reached the final and most critical phase of the manifestation process. You have imagined the end. You have occupied the state. You have ended the striving, and you have learned the art of detachment. Now, you must master the discipline of receiving without interference. This sounds simple, but it is where 90% of people fail. To receive without interference means to allow the bridge of incidents to unfold without trying to micromanage the universe. It means to stand firm in your assumption even when the outer world seems to be going crazy. Interference is the act of stepping in front of the divine machinery and trying to fix it with your human hands. It is the equivalent of a passenger running into the cockpit of a plane and trying to fly it because they hit a little turbulence. You must trust the pilot. You must trust the law. When you interfere, you are telling the universe, I do not trust you. And because the universe is a mirror, it reflects your lack of trust by giving you untrustworthy results. Interference comes in many forms. It comes as doubt. It comes as impatience. It comes as fear. But mostly it comes as the obsession with the how. The how is not your job. I cannot state this strongly enough. The infinite intelligence that governs the stars and the tides knows a billion ways to bring you your millions. You know, perhaps 3 or 4 ways. You think you can get rich by working harder, winning the lottery, or inheriting money. That is the limit of your logical mind. But the universe has channels of delivery that you cannot even conceive of. It can collapse industries and build new ones. It can move people across continents to meet you. It can inspire inventions in your mind that change the world. When you try to dictate the how, you are shutting down all these infinite channels and forcing the universe to squeeze your blessing through the tiny straw of your limited understanding. Receiving without interference means leaving the how completely open. It means saying I am wealthy and letting the universe decide if that wealth comes from a business deal, a gift, a refund, or a miracle. When you stop worrying about the how, you release the resistance that holds the manifestation back. Think of it like tuning a radio. The moment you find the right frequency, the station plays. The music is clear. The signal is strong. But if you keep turning the dial out of fear that you might lose the signal, you will distort the sound. You will get static. Manifestation works the same way. Your state of consciousness is your frequency. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are tuned in. You are on the station of Wealth FM. Now your only job is to leave the dial alone. But what do most people do? They get scared. They look at their bank account and see a 0. This creates fear. Fear causes them to touch the dial. They shift their frequency from wealth to panic, and suddenly the music stops and the static begins. Then they say, see? The law doesn't work. But the law worked perfectly. You tuned into panic and you got the static of panic. To receive without interference, you must discipline yourself to keep your hands off the dial. Even when the static comes, and it will come in the form of bad news or delays, you must hold the frequency. You must say, this is just interference. I am not moving. Receiving without interference is not laziness. It is not sitting on the couch waiting for a bag of money to fall through the ceiling. That is passivity. There is a massive difference between passivity and non-interference. Passivity is a lack of belief. Non-interference is the height of belief. It is the ability to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled while the outer catches up. It is the refusal to let present appearances dictate your belief. When you are in the state of non-interference, you are actually very active. But your action is different. It is inspired action. Effort is not the same as force. Inspired action flows from the state of the wish fulfilled. It feels natural. It feels joyful. It feels like the next logical step. You might get an urge to call someone. You might get an idea for a book. You might feel like going to a certain coffee shop. These are the breadcrumbs of the bridge of incidents. You follow them not because you are desperate to make it happen, but because it is fun to play the role. Forced action is different. Forced action is born of panic. It feels heavy. It feels like a grind. It is you trying to break down a door that is locked. Forced action is interference. Inspired action is reception. When you trust the process, life has room to deliver in ways you could not have planned. But when you interfere, you shrink the channels of delivery to your own limited understanding. Imagine you are driving a car with a GPS. You program the destination, millions. The GPS calculates the fastest route. But as you are driving, you see a road that looks faster. You turn the wheel. The GPS says, recalculating. Then you see another road. You turn again, recalculating. You keep overriding the GPS because you think you know better. As a result, you drive in circles for hours. If you had just listened to the instructions, you would have arrived in 10 minutes. The universe is the GPS. It sees the traffic. It sees the roadblocks. It sees the shortcuts. Your interference is the constant turning of the wheel based on your limited vision. Take your hands off the wheel. Let the higher mind drive. Your job is to provide the fuel. The fuel is your feeling. Keep the tank full of gratitude and the car will get there. So stop overthinking, stop timing it, stop dissecting it. Analysis is paralysis. When you analyze your manifestation, you kill it. You act like a botanist who pulls a flower apart to see how it grows. In the end, you have knowledge, but you have a dead flower. Do not dissect your life. Live it. Enjoy the mystery. The state of not knowing how it will happen is actually a state of excitement if you frame it correctly. It is like waiting for a surprise party. You know the party is for you. You know it will be great. You just don't know when everyone will jump out and yell, surprise. If you knew exactly when it would happen, it would ruin the fun. Treat your manifestation like a surprise party. Walk through your day wondering, is it today? Is this the phone call? Is this the email? This attitude of playful expectancy is the exact opposite of interference. It is an open invitation for the miracle to enter. Your part was to choose the state, to feel it real, to claim it within. That is the seed. Now let it grow without digging it up every day. Digging it up is the most common form of interference. Every time you complain about your lack of money, you are digging up the seed. Every time you argue with your spouse about bills, you are digging up the seed. Every time you feel jealous of a rich person, you are digging up the seed. You must leave the seed in the dark soil of the subconscious. The darkness is where the magic happens. Do not be afraid of the dark times in your life. The silence, the delay, the apparent lack of movement, this is the incubation period. It is necessary. A baby needs 9 months in the dark. If you bring it into the light too soon, it cannot survive. Your millions need a gestation period. Honor the gestation. Do not curse the darkness. Bless it. It is protecting your dream while it gains the strength to survive in the physical world. If you can hold the end in your mind without reaching for it, if you can move through your days with the quiet certainty that it is already yours, you will see how effortlessly the outer world bends to your inner assumption. The world bends because it has no skeleton. It is fluid energy. Your assumption provides the skeleton. Your conviction provides the structure. If your conviction is shaky, the world shakes. If your conviction is solid, the world solidifies. Interference causes the world to shake. When you are constantly changing your mind, I am rich. No, I am poor. Maybe I can do it. No, it's too hard. You are sending a chaotic signal. The world tries to form around rich, then it has to dissolve and form around poor. It is exhausting for you and it produces a chaotic reality. You must be single-minded. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Be single-minded. I am wealthy. Period. No discussion, no debate, and when it arrives, you will see clearly. It was never about making it happen. It was always about letting it happen. The millions you desire are not somewhere far away waiting for you to earn them. They are here now, fully formed, already yours in the unseen. You are not chasing, you are selecting. You are not a beggar at life's door. You are the master of the house. The master does not run around the house frantically. The master sits in his chair and speaks, and the servants obey. Your servants are your thoughts. Your servants are your emotions. Are they obeying you or are they running wild? Interference often comes from undisciplined thoughts. You must train your servants. When a thought of poverty comes, you must say, I did not summon you. Leave. When a feeling of fear comes, you must say, you are not welcome in this house. This is not suppression. It is authority. It is the master taking control of his household. Creation is finished. This is the bedrock of non-interference. If creation is finished, you cannot add to it and you cannot subtract from it. You can only reveal it. You are an archaeologist brushing away the dirt from a statue that is already there. The statue of your wealthy self is buried under the dirt of your limiting beliefs. You don't have to create the statue. You just have to remove the dirt. Interference is throwing more dirt on the statue. Every doubt is a shovel of dirt. Every worry is a shovel of dirt. Stop throwing dirt. Start brushing it away with the brush of faith. Reveal what is already there. The gold is already in the ground. You just have to uncover it. You are the operant power. Imagination is your gateway. Detachment is your proof of confidence. Feeling it real is the signal, and receiving without interference is the final step. This step requires the most trust. It requires you to walk blindly. We walk by faith, not by sight. To walk by sight is to interfere. If you only walk where you can see the path, you will never go anywhere new. You must walk into the fog. You must walk off the cliff. As you step out, the bridge will appear. But it will not appear before you step. It appears as you step. This is the terrifying and exhilarating nature of the law. You must commit before you have confirmation. You must jump before you have the parachute. But the parachute always opens for the one who jumps in alignment with the law. Nothing can be withheld from the one who dares to believe it's already done. The law is exact. The world is faithful. The unseen will never fail to rearrange the scene to match the state you have claimed within. The rearrangement is happening right now. Even as you listen to these words, your reality is shifting. Your cells are changing. Your neural pathways are rewiring. The world outside is preparing a surprise for you. Do not ruin the surprise by peeking. Do not ruin it by doubting. Stay in the state of positive expectation. Wake up every morning and say, something wonderful is happening to me today. And mean it. Look for the evidence of it. When you look for the good, you find it. When you look for the interference, you create it. So leave here tonight knowing that you lack nothing. That the wealth, the freedom, the abundance you long for is not on its way. It is here. Step into it now. Speak as though it is yours. Live as though it is yours. Rest as though it is yours. This rest is the ultimate non-interference. It is the peace that passes understanding. The world will look at you and ask, why are you so calm? Don't you know the economy is crashing? Don't you know you have debts? And you will smile and say, I know who I am. That knowing is your shield. That knowing is your sword. That knowing is the key that unlocks the treasury of the infinite. You have allowed the millions. You have allowed the love. You have allowed the health. You have allowed it by getting out of the way. You have stepped aside and let God enter. And where God enters, perfection follows. This brings us to the concept of the silent partner. You are in business with the universe. You are the silent partner. Your job is to set the vision and then step back. Let the active partner, the universal power, handle the logistics. The active partner has access to resources you don't, It has access to minds you don't. It has access to doors you can't open. Why would you try to do the active partner's job? You would just mess it up. Stick to your role. Your role is the visionary. Your role is the keeper of the flame. Keep the flame of your desire burning bright and steady. That is enough. That is all that is asked of you. If you do that, the active partner will deliver the dividends, and the dividends will be millions. There is a beautiful term in physics called least action. Nature always follows the path of least action. Water flows downhill. Electricity follows the path of least resistance. You are part of nature. You should follow the path of least action. Interference is the path of most action. It is the hard way. Receiving is the easy way. Why choose the hard way? Why choose the struggle? Choose the ease. Choose the flow. When you are in flow, you are efficient. You achieve more in an hour of flow than in a year of struggle. The millions are waiting for you in the flow. They cannot swim upstream to get to you. You must float downstream to get to them. Let go of the branch you are holding on to. Let the river carry you. The river knows the way to the ocean. You don't. Trust the river. As we conclude this chapter, remember that receiving is an active state of spiritual alertness. You are watching. You are listening. You are ready, but you are not anxious. You are like a goalkeeper in a soccer game. You are ready to catch the ball, but you are not running around the field chasing it. You stand in your goal, your desire, and you wait for the ball to come to you. And when it comes, you catch it with ease. You catch the opportunity. You catch the idea. You catch the luck. Because you were there. You were present. You were not distracted by interference. You were home. Be home in your desire. Be home in your assumption, and the guest will arrive. The guest is your destiny. It is knocking. Open the door. This is the law of reception. It is the law of the open hand. It is the law of the open heart. It is the law of the open mind. Close your hands and you can hold nothing. Open them and you can hold the world. Close your mind and you see only problems. Open it and you see solutions. Close your heart and you feel only fear. Open it and you feel the love of the universe rushing in to support you. You are supported. You are loved. You are wealthy. It is not a question of if. It is a statement of is. I am wealthy. I am free. I am that I am. Allow this truth to settle in your bones. Allow it to rewrite your DNA. Allow it to become your new normal. And watch with wonder as the world reflects the glory of your allowance. The millions are yours. Receive them. We have journeyed together through the architecture of a new reality, and now we stand at the threshold of the final state. This is not merely the end of a video or the conclusion of a lecture. It is the commencement of your new life. We have explored the recognition that creation is finished. We have learned that imagination is the womb of reality, and that striving is the enemy of reception. We have understood that the world is a mirror reflecting the cause within you, and we have accepted the responsibility of being the operant power. We have practiced the art of detachment and mastered the discipline of receiving without interference. Now we must integrate all these truths into a single unified state of being. The final state is not a technique you do for 20 minutes a day. It is the place where you live. It is the rock upon which you stand. It is the unshakable knowing that the millions you desire are not a possibility to be hoped for, but a reality to be acknowledged. Think of it like tuning a radio. Throughout this journey, you have been turning the dial, moving through the static of doubt and the noise of fear. You have touched the signal of wealth briefly here and there. But the final state is when you lock onto the frequency. You take your hand off the dial. You sit back and let the music play. The music of abundance is now the soundtrack of your life. You do not check the radio to see if it is still working. You trust the signal. This trust is the atmosphere of the final state. Receiving without interference is not laziness, it is mastery. It is the ability to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled while the outer catches up. It is the refusal to let present appearances dictate your belief. It is understanding that your role is not to build the bridge, but to walk it when it appears. Effort is not the same as force. Inspired action, the action that feels natural and joyful, flows from knowing. Forced action, the kind born of panic and impatience, flows from doubt. The first aligns with the unseen, the second disrupts it. When you trust the process, life has room to deliver in ways you could not have planned. But when you interfere, you shrink the channels of delivery to your own limited understanding. So stop overthinking, stop timing it, stop dissecting it. Your part was to choose the state, to feel it real, to claim it within. That is the seed. Now let it grow without digging it up every day. If you can hold the end in your mind without reaching for it, if you can move through your days with the quiet certainty that it is already yours, you will see how effortlessly the outer world bends to your inner assumption. And when it arrives, you will see clearly. It was never about making it happen. It was always about letting it happen. The millions you desire are not somewhere far away waiting for you to earn them. They are here now, fully formed, already yours in the unseen. You are not chasing. You are selecting. You are not a beggar at life's door. You are the master of the house. Creation is finished. You are the operant power. Imagination is your gateway. Detachment is your proof of confidence. Feeling it real is the signal. And receiving without interference is the final step. Nothing can be withheld from the one who dares to believe it is already done. The law is exact. The world is faithful. The unseen will never fail to rearrange the scene to match the state you have claimed within. So leave here tonight knowing that you lack nothing, that the wealth, the freedom, the abundance you long for is not on its way. It is here. Step into it now. Speak as though it is yours. Live as though it is yours. Rest as though it is yours. This rest is the hallmark of the final state. It is what the ancients called the Sabbath. It is not a day of the week. It is a state of consciousness where the mental work is done. You have planted the seed, you have watered it with faith, and now you rest. You do not worry about the harvest because the harvest is guaranteed by the laws of nature. In the spiritual realm, the harvest is guaranteed by the law of assumption. When you are in the final state, you are no longer looking for signs. A man who is wealthy does not look for signs of wealth, he simply spends his money. A man who is healthy does not check his pulse every minute, he simply lives his life. You must reach that point of naturalness. Naturalness is the secret. If your desire feels like a miracle, it is still far away. If it feels like a natural fact, it is here. The final state is the state of naturalness. It is the state where having millions feels as normal to you as breathing air. You must wear the feeling of wealth until it fits you like a comfortable old coat. At first it may feel like a costume, but as you persist, it becomes your skin. Consider the butterfly. When the caterpillar enters the chrysalis, it dissolves completely. It loses its old identity. It becomes a soup of potential. Then it reorganizes itself into a new creature. The butterfly does not look back at the caterpillar and ask, "How do I crawl?" It flies. It has entered a new state of being. You are currently in the chrysalis of your imagination. You are dissolving the old identity of the struggler, the seeker, the one who lacks. Do not be afraid of this dissolution. It is necessary. You are being reorganized into a creature of flight, a creature of overflow. When you emerge from this video, you are no longer the caterpillar. You are the butterfly. Do not try to crawl anymore. Do not try to struggle. Spread your wings and ride the currents of the universe. The currents are the bridge of incidents. They will carry you to the flower. They will carry you to the nectar. The millions are the nectar. It is waiting for you. The world will try to pull you back. The world is an echo chamber of your past. Your friends, your family, your bank account, they are all reflecting the old you. When you step into the final state, you must be prepared to ignore the echo. Do not argue with the echo. Do not try to convince the echo. Simply smile and know. Know that the echo is dying. It is the sound of a train that has already left the station. You are on a new train moving toward a new destination. The scenery outside the window may still look like the old town, but the train is moving. Soon the scenery will change. You must have the patience of the traveler. Enjoy the journey. Know that every click of the tracks is bringing you closer to the physical realization of your mental reality. The final state is a state of joyous anticipation, not anxious waiting. It is the difference between waiting for a dentist appointment and waiting for a vacation. Both involve time, but one is filled with dread and the other with delight. Fill your waiting with delight. Fill it with preparation. You are the operant power. This means you are the only one who can stop the flow. And the only way to stop the flow is to doubt. Doubt is the killer of dreams. But in the final state, doubt is transformed. You no longer doubt the outcome, you only doubt the limitations. You doubt the fear. You doubt the poverty. You become a skeptic of the visible world and a believer in the invisible world. This reversal of sanity is the beginning of true wisdom. The world calls you crazy for believing in what you cannot see. But you know that the world is crazy for believing only in what is dying. Everything visible is dying. Everything invisible is eternal. Place your trust in the eternal. Place your trust in your imagination. It is the rock of ages. Let us talk about the millionaire identity. This is not just about money. Money is paper. Money is digital numbers. The millionaire identity is a state of freedom. It is a state of influence. It is a state of generosity. It is a state of lack of fear. When you have millions, you do not worry about rent. You do not worry about bills. You have the bandwidth to think about higher things. You can think about art. You can think about helping others. You can think about changing the world. Enter that state of mental bandwidth now. Do not wait for the money to relieve your stress. Relieve your stress by entering the state, and the money will follow. This is the secret. You must become the person who can handle the millions before the millions arrive. You must have the character of the wealthy, the poise of the wealthy, the mindset of the wealthy. The final state is the embodiment of this character. The universe is a faithful servant. It has no judgment. It does not say, "You are not good enough for this." It only says, "Your wish is my command." If your command is, "I am struggling," it obeys. If your command is, "I am thriving," it obeys. The final state is the state of issuing the right command permanently. It is not a one-time order. It is a standing order. You are telling the universe, "From now on I am wealthy. Deliver this reality to me every day." And the universe will set up a supply line. It will bring you opportunities every day. It will bring you ideas every day. Your job is to receive them. Receive them without interference. Receive them without second guessing. Receive them with gratitude. Gratitude is the vessel that holds the overflow. If you are not grateful for the first drop, you will not receive the ocean. Be grateful for every sign. Be grateful for every dollar. Be grateful for the air in your lungs. Gratitude keeps the channel open. We must address the concept of time one last time. In the final state, time collapses. You stop measuring how long it takes. Measuring time is a sign of doubt. It implies you are waiting. When you are having fun, time flies. When you are in pain, time drags. When you are in the state of the wish fulfilled, you are having fun. You are enjoying the inner reality. You are decorating your mental mansion. You are driving your mental car. You are helping people with your mental fortune. This inner play is so enjoyable that you forget to check the clock. And paradoxically, when you forget the clock, the manifestation accelerates. It comes in an hour you think not. It comes like a thief in the night. It catches you by surprise. This surprise is the joy of manifestation. Let the universe surprise you. Do not micromanage the timing. The universe has a timing that is perfect. It knows when the fruit is ripe. If you pick it too soon, it is sour. If you wait too long, it rots. Trust the divine timing. The final state is also a state of forgiveness. You must forgive yourself for the years of struggle. You must forgive yourself for the poverty consciousness. You did the best you could with the knowledge you had. Do not carry the guilt of the past into the future. The past is a dream. It is over. Wake up. The present is a fresh sheet of paper. Write a new story. Forgive those who told you that you couldn't do it. They were only reflecting your own doubts. Forgive the economy. Forgive the government. Forgive your parents. Release all that energy. You need all your energy for creation. You cannot afford to waste energy on resentment. Resentment is a leak in your vessel. Plug the leak. forgive and forget. Focus entirely on the vision. As you move forward from this moment, realize that you are never alone. You have a silent partner. The infinite intelligence within you is your partner. It knows the way, it has the map, it has the resources. You do not have to figure it all out. You just have to hold the hand of your partner. You hold it by trusting. You hold it by listening. You hold it by following the nudges of intuition. This partnership is invincible. If God be for us, who can be against us? And God is your own imagination. Therefore, nothing can be against you. The only thing that can oppose you is your own unbelief. Lay down your unbelief. Lay down your weapons of war against yourself. Surrender to your greatness. Surrender to your wealth. The final state is a state of I am that I am, not I will be, not I hope to be. I am. Claim it now. I am the resurrection and the life of my finances. I am the door through which the abundance of the universe flows. I am the light that dispels the darkness of poverty. Speak these words to yourself. Feel them vibrate in your chest. Let them become your heartbeat. I am. When you say I am, you are anchoring yourself in the eternal now. You are driving a stake into the ground of reality and saying, here I stand. And from that center, the world revolves. The world must revolve around your I am. It has no other center. You are the center of your universe. Make your center strong. Make your center rich. Make your center loving. Do not let the simplicity of this message fool you. The deepest truths are always simple. We complicate them because our egos want to feel important. We think we have to struggle to be worthy. But the flower does not struggle to bloom. The sun does not struggle to shine. The earth does not struggle to spin. They just are. You are part of this natural order. Your wealth should be as natural as the blooming of a rose. It unfolds, it opens, it releases its fragrance. Allow your wealth to unfold. Do not pry the petals open with force. Let the sun of your faith open them. Let the rain of your gratitude nourish them. Be a witness to your own blossoming. There will be days when the old man tries to come back. The old thoughts of lack will knock on the door. This is normal. It is the momentum of the past. Do not let them in. Speak to them at the door. Say, I no longer live here. The person you are looking for has moved. I am a new creation. And shut the door. Do not fight them. Just dismiss them. Return your attention to the new state. The more you deny the old state, the weaker it becomes. It will eventually die of starvation. Attention is the food of thoughts. Feed the new, starve the old. This is the discipline of the final state. It is a daily practice. It is a moment-by-moment choice. Choose life. Choose abundance. Imagine a world where everyone understood this law. A world where everyone knew they were the operant power. There would be no envy. There would be no theft. There would be no war over resources, because everyone would know that they can create infinite resources from within. You are the pioneer of this new world. You are showing what is possible. When you succeed, you give permission to others to succeed. Your wealth lifts the collective consciousness. Your overflow feeds the hungry. Your example teaches the ignorant. Do not shrink from your greatness. The world needs your light. The world needs your millions. The world needs your example of a life lived by law. Be that example. So leave here tonight knowing that the contract is signed. The deal is done. The millions are yours. Not in a metaphorical sense, but in a literal sense. They are vibrating in your field right now. They are condensing into matter right now. Your physical eyes will see them soon enough, but your spiritual eyes have already seen them, and that is enough. The vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait for it. It is sure it will not be late. It will not be late. It will be right on time, divine time. Step into your day tomorrow with a secret smile, the smile of the one who knows. When you pay for your coffee, smile because you know there are millions behind that dollar. When you drive your car, smile because you know the upgrade is coming. When you walk into your job, smile because you know you are the owner of your destiny. Carry this secret like a precious jewel in your pocket. Touch it often. Remind yourself, I have allowed my millions. This allowance is your superpower. It dissolves mountains. It dries up seas of red tape. It opens prison doors of debt. Allowance is the key. You are the operant power. You are the cause. You are the mirror. You are the womb. You are the harvest. It is all you. It has always been you. The search is over. The finding has begun. Welcome to your new life. Welcome to the overflow. Welcome to the final state. It is finished, and it is very good. You have heard the truth, and the truth has set you free. The millions are not coming, they are here. Now, I ask you to seal this knowing. Subscribe to the channel to keep your frequency tuned to wealth. Share this message with someone who is still striving in the dark. And most importantly, leave a comment below declaring, I have received. Do not say I will receive. Say I have received. Let that be your final stamp of approval on the contract you have signed with the universe today. Thank you for watching. Go forth and enjoy your overflow.